Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
What's more terrifying? Fear. Fear. Or the frightened. Ask yourself. Fear. Or the frightened.
Forced adversity.
We fapping. Hey, don't play again, you stupid thing. Get off loop. There you go. No, stop. All right. Hey. Look, this thing would fucking fly off the rails if it wasn't for Morgan.
Whoa, it's Morgan. Where did Morgan come from?
I don't know. Tell us your origin and where'd you come from? You know?
I presume a human being from some kind of womb.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Wisconsin.
I mean that too.
Yeah.
Definitely Wisconsin.
Is that all right? Pretty cool. Or
yeah, sure. I'll do.
And I just have one question for our next guest co-host. Or no, he's not a guest. He's a co-host.
Co-host.
But I have a question.
Check on that name.
Hey, Bob. I want to know real quick.
How would you like to die today, Bob?
Just curious.
Death by snoo, of course.
Yeah.
As is tradition.
Welcome, everybody.
Most among us would not prefer that.
Oh man, yeah. So Trump died the other day. He's not dead anymore, but he died the other day apparently. As far as like a lot of people, and it's like Schrodinger's Trump. Maybe he was really dead for a while. Like as far as a lot of people were concerned, apparently.
Maybe he was mostly dead, and there's a big difference between all dead and only mostly dead.
I find it fascinating that he goes half a weekend without committing any publicly impeachable offenses, and the whole world assumes he's dead.
We just presume he's dead.
Yeah.
Well, it was also precipitated by some shit that what's his name said too. That was kind of weird.
JD Vance said some things. I'm sure we'll get into that.
Well, reportedly, in his first term, he did die on the table when he had COVID, and they had to and they revived him.
That's crazy. Reportedly where?
I don't remember the source now, but that was a story that was widely circulated. It may have just been a rumor, but I know I saw it reported on one of the cable networks.
Well, I don't know if it was Reuters, because those motherfuckers paywalled me today, those sons of bitches. I didn't know they were fucking doing that now. Jesus.
We got to get that cash, right?
What is the logic? I mean, there's not any. Obviously, it's capitalism, so there's not really logic. I mean, it's like capitalist profit motive. It just interferes with any logical process. Because like we literally have a fucking like a plague of literal fake news and like just bad information going around, and all of the like most reliable, just fact-based reporting, outlets are just like, you know what? Let's make it harder to get to our information. Let's make people pay
because they have to pay people, and because they're an independent business that has to like make money to stay in business. They don't have
Reuters make money before. How did Reuters and AP? How did they make money before?
I mean, they used to be able to sell their content to other papers.
Oh, okay. That
makes sense. So newspapers pay to be on the AP news wire,
right?
But as newspapers die off and news networks die off and get consolidated and stuff, that's less money for that organization. And so they have to pay the bills somehow because there's not some sketchy billionaire letting them spread all this fake news. So they're in a position where to sustain themselves, they have to do something to get money. And AdSense ads aren't going to pay a newsroom full of reporters the way they pay a difference on YouTube.
If they cared.
Anybody thinking about this type of thing? I mean, I want you to question this train of logic here. If he's going for a third term, which is constitutionally specifically prohibited,
that has not stopped him before, but go on.
Why would impeaching him do anything? Why would impeaching him fucking have any effect at all?
Right.
Why would he leave if he's impeached? I mean, impeaching is not making him leave in the first place. Impeaching him, then convicting him, that's a different thing. But like, or convicting him, then kick him out. But like, yeah, it doesn't make any sense to think that if he's gonna go ahead and just fucking shit all over the Constitution anyway, that some other constitutional.
I think what CJH is building this off of is the terms of the Constitution. I forget which amendment was added after FDR to set that you get 2 terms. Gives you 10 years, which is 2 terms, or if you're a vice president sworn in like Lyndon Johnson,
like 2 years in.
It's 2. He can get elected to 2 terms plus whatever the extra. As long as it wasn't like most of the term of the last guy, he can get 2 terms.
I see.
So I think that's where that if he were to resign in the next 6 months, they would have a better case to argue for him to run for a 3rd term. I think that's politically dubious.
Yeah, I think we all just need to accept the reality that the Constitution is no longer in effect.
Right.
Just give up on that idea. It's gone.
They've shown. I mean, we could probably count. It'd probably be in the dozens of instances just in 8 months that they have blown past any kind of specific constitutional prohibition of things they've done.
Yeah.
Without giving a single shit. I do have a little bit of good news here, which is that U.S. judge has blocked the government from deporting unaccompanied Guatemalan children. So there's a little bit of something.
Yeah.
Apparently, there was a plane in the air when that was decided, and the plane turned around. So at least
they actually turned around. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, some level they're maybe not Trump. I'm sure if Trump was in charge of that plane directly, he would have been like, no, don't stop. But or Stephen Miller rather.
Someone made the decision to turn around that plane, and I imagine by Tuesday they will have lost their job.
Yeah,
they'll be gone.
It doesn't get reported often enough by mainstream and independent outlets that the Trump administration has quietly complied with a large number of federal court rulings against them, like weeks and weeks after those rulings made the news. So they like defy the court in public, and then after everyone stops paying attention, they sort of backtrack on some of the things and comply.
Let's be real, man. Like they're not. I mean, yes, they are okay with, and there are definitely people in the administration like Stephen Miller who definitely want to get rid of brown people and shit. But as far as Trump is concerned, that's all smoke and mirrors to grift. Right, like he doesn't really truly give a shit. He just knows that's the thing that the people voted for him for, and so that's why they're trying to rack up the numbers. Despite doing it in really shitty ways that don't even apply to the criteria that they said it should apply. Going to people's asylum appointments and hearings and stuff like that, and going picking up landscapers and all that stuff, which they then turned around and stopped doing. Apparently, it's all just because it's a numbers game. They want to have the numbers to go look. Voters, we did it for you, so now you'll fucking defend us to the death in the streets probably whenever I go for a third term. Anyway.
Yeah, I think Trump made a deal with these people, which was get me in office so I can die in power rather than prison, and I'll let you do basically whatever you want.
So
definitely there's part of the calculus.
Interview with Michael Wolff, and he's kind of a shitty guy too, but like. It's shitty, at least in the sense that he waited until much later to report several things that he could have, armed the voting populace with. That's Trump's biographer, by the way. He's saying that the administration is very, very upset that people keep focusing on Trump's health. They're very agitated.
Aww.
Yeah.
Have they considered electing a healthy person?
Yeah.
Clear that right the fuck up.
I don't know. If I was in his shoes, I'd rather they focused on my health than the fact that my name is in the Petonomicon.
You're right. Him dying is a distraction from the Petonomicon. That's now canon. That's show canon. Fucking hell.
Which I think, by the way, if he does, he will die in office, whether he's dead right now or not. He is not going to survive the next 4 years. And when he passes, I do think one of the ways that that his network will put it behind us is to release the fact that he is, in fact, in the Epstein files after he's gone. And they'll be like, aren't we lucky to be rid of this monster? And look at how he fooled us. They'll dismiss him and then consolidate power even further.
Right. Because they do love consolidating power. It's their number one hobby. That and CSA. They also really seem to like CSA.
They love Crashing Grinder. They love
the
CSAM.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, basically, I saw a video the other day in my shorts reel that was like a lady saying, if you think about it, anytime somebody's like, that being gay is a choice, that's because they're telling on themselves that they feel like they chose to be straight, right? Mm-hmm. And that they're very, very resentful of people that are open about being gay because they can't be or feel like they can't be.
Right.
Yeah. I forget which evangelical preacher it was in the 80s. I believe it was Jerry Falwell. Was asked the question whether he thought homosexuality was a choice or not. And he said, yes, of course it is, because I chose to be straight.
So with the path in front of him, he thought about it real hard and was like, being a gay thing might not go vibe so well with the church. I'll do that behind closed doors. I heard he had sex with his mother in an outhouse.
That's fun.
No, that's just it's a bit of a reference to Larry Flint and Hustler magazine. They used to do these satire writing, page. It was like a page of some kind of story. It was like Jerry Falwell had quote unquote written into Hustler
Oh,
to talk
geez.
about
Oh, I see. Okay.
losing his virginity to his mother in an outhouse, and that he actually sued Falwell. There was a big went to the Supreme Court, I believe,
Wow.
because it was like arguing whether or not Hustler had a right to exist.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, so he's not dead, I don't think. Has he been seen? I think he's been seen since.
He was seen, I think, on Friday. They took him golfing.
Yeah.
Took him golfing.
He looked really swollen.
He looked very puffy.
Yeah,
His
he
hair
looked very,
is
very
really
puffy.
flat, man. If that's not an indicator of something, I don't know. But like his hair is not looking good. And not that it ever looked good, but
Right.
Yeah.
you can tell what he thinks looks good, and it hasn't been looking like that.
No, it has
Yeah, he's
not.
been very looking disheveled. And I was telling Morgan before the stream that I've been around a lot of old, dying people in my life because I come from a gigantic redneck family that had multiple generations living in houses together. So like great-grandparents and great-great-grandparents. And I know what the dwindles looks like. And Trump definitely has it. I think
what do you think
is
this is
not going to
gonna-
live out a year.
Is it just like his arteries probably they're too clogged for sure and stuff like that?
I don't know what it is, but he looks like he's dying to me. And I don't think he's going to live another year. I give him 4 to 6 months.
I live in hope.
I mean, dude looks like he just got out of bed there, which is fine if he did just get out of bed, but he didn't.
Right.
Michael Wolff was talking about him, how like he's from that generation, and it's pretty clear the guy's got fucking typically he's got boundless energy for a guy his fucking age. It's kind of crazy. It's upsetting.
Yeah.
Like he can just go and go and go. That doesn't mean that he's going to be doing anything useful or saying anything coherent, but he can go.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the kind of person that basically just eventually will just stop. They don't die slowly, you know what I mean? Like kind of thing. They just eventually will just drop dead.
Wither. Yeah. They just
Yeah.
expire.
I think the energy comes from all the Adderall that he snorts.
It's a
But-
considerable amount of Adderall.
Legitimate accounts of that being the case. I forget that guy's name. He's a actor, comedian, or whatever. He was on The Apprentice, and he said that basically he was snorting rails of Adderall. That he shit his pants a lot.
So the military doctor that was his, like the doctor for the
Ronnie Jackson.
Yeah, Ronnie Jackson was stripped of rank for, I believe, doling out pills in the first.
Yeah, he was running a fucking pharmacopoeia there at the White House the first administration. Everybody was just on whatever they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
You could just go up and be like, "Hey, I want this," and he'd give it to him.
Right, Dr. Feelgood.
Yep.
But that bill comes due.
The rot starts at the head, I guess, and it's really rotten up there.
Really rotten.
But it's also rotten down at the base too. So
what do we all think will happen when he dies in terms of the political situation?
Well, I think that first and foremost, there will be conspiracy theories that will be insane. They will. I said it on Friday. They will attempt. Probably the party itself will attempt to, say that this is somehow the Democrats did this, because they will recognize that our cult leader, the figure that held us together, is gone, and that means everything's going to fly apart, and the Democrats are going to seize on that. So what do we do in order to maintain power? We're going to fucking, take it to the next level with demonizing Democrats and the left and say this is some left plot. They might even conjure up some fucking bullshit evidence or whatever. Who knows? I think that'll happen to some degree. I don't know how much they'll try and push it, because sometimes you can tell sometimes they try to say or do something really crazy and it doesn't really take like they expect. So they just kind of give up on it. That happens every once in a while.
Especially because they need him to do it.
But
when they try it on their own without his energy behind it in some way, shape, or form, it kind of falls apart.
Well, that would be why they're consolidating power so quickly. Like I've thought for quite a few weeks now that they being Peter Thiel and his gang of South African zombies, they are convinced Trump is dying. And that's why we're seeing so much happen so quickly. Because usually fascism It does move relatively quickly compared to other political processes, but not like this fast. They try to sneak up on you in a lot of ways, and here they're not trying to sneak up on us. And I think they are aware that when he's gone, they need to have all of their pieces on the board where they want them, because they won't be able to do that after he's gone.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the Caesar thing is a good. You can kind of count on that. Basically, there's going to be a lot of backstabbing. I mean, it almost certainly will, no matter what, because they're going to be desperate to try to stop it from throwing the party into chaos. That it will throw the party into chaos because they don't know how to actually be cohesive on ideological or ethical terms. So they just will start fucking stabbing each other in the back.
Yeah, one of the things that's kept the Republican Party in disarray this whole time is that their factions are already fighting and have been fighting since last year about who is going to be in charge when he expires. Because you have more global economy focused rich fucks who don't really like the tariff situation and have gone along with Trump because that's their connection to other things they want, and they'll take the loss. But they would like that gone. That's bad for business. It's bad for their bottom line. And they know it. Those people are going to try and consolidate power out from the ethno-nationalists like your Stephen Millers, your Peter Thiels. And then you also have sort of the like technocratic Republicans who are these like Peter Thiel's part of this group as well, where it's like the big tech should rule everything, the CEO emperor style philosophies, that all of those groups are going to have already begun to try and jockey for power and placate Trump's interest to be the last one who is talking to him, so he says what they say, because he's easily influenced as much as he is easy to influence others.
Yeah. So I mean,
go ahead.
I was going to say this. Somebody asked who's more scary, Peter Thiel or Stephen Miller. I mean, I think nobody is going to be able to replace the just pure cult-like power that Trump has over MAGA, and that's the base. That's the voting populace. So that would they probably realize that. So they probably would, whoever it is, if whether it's Thiel or Vance. I mean, they're basically the same guy. I mean, Vance is going to do whatever Peter Thiel wants.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No. So I think that I don't think either of those men want to share power.
Sure, but I mean, yeah. But I mean, Peter Thiel's not in a position to have power, right?
I mean, he owned like all of the data that Dodgy stole, all ended up in his hands.
Okay.
Yeah. So like he owns one of the largest intelligence gathering apparatuses on the planet. He has power. It's not elected official power, but it's a tremendous amount of power.
Sure. That's what I'm saying, that he would, because he's not in that position, I feel like he would. I mean, Vance is clearly there for that purpose, right? To like be the arm of guys like him,
right?
Be the active hand and whatnot. So like, I feel like that's kind of a no-brainer.
Right, but I think that
Stephen Miller will be thrown to the wolves the instant Trump is dead.
Right. Yeah. Which I think is why he and people like him are part of this power jockeying thing, because they know when that day comes out, it's going to be bad for them. So that's why they are in the scrum as well, because it's their ass on the line.
Yeah. So there's two different aspects of the voters kind of thing, that like, so the people that Trump has been losing lately, the podcast bros, MAGA, just because they for some reason believed that he was going to be anti-woke and make freedom of speech good, or whatever the fuck, I don't know.
Right.
Those people, even the ones that have already kind of started to break off a bit, they might be susceptible to come back for somebody like Vance or something, that's like, or whoever that is if they're doing corporate interest type shit first, because those people love that shit.
Those guys, I think, want someone to stroke their ego, and Trump is very, very good at stroking people's ego. Look at the fucking dog and pony show he put on with Bill Maher. right? Like he walked Bill Maher like he was a dog.
Yeah.
That's what Trump is good at. And so I think that these podcast bros, if the Republicans don't have another guy to dog walk them, who knows what they do?
Well, a lot of those guys have Peter Thiel and Mark Andreessen and Elon Musk
Yeah.
and all the rest of these nano zombies on regularly, and they're all
Yeah.
taking their money.
Right.
So most of them will do what they're told, I think.
That's
And-
probably fair. Yeah.
But that's going to be a changeover. That's going to be a kind of give and take, because those, like I was saying, those guys are, it's potentially they could go for that kind of thing. Whereas the MAGA, Trump cult, the Trump people,
Sure.
they're going to have a hard time. Even if some of them try to just kind of map their Trump love onto whoever, they're not going to be able to commit to it. It's not, it's going to be weird for them.
I think MAGA
crises happening, I think.
Yeah, I think the MAGA true believer cult will have a crisis of conscience, or a crisis of identity. Excuse me.
Yes.
They have no conscience. A crisis of identity when Trump dies, and that will temporarily weaken them.
Right.
And I don't think there is anyone who's going to have the status that Trump has, waiting in the wings. That's going to be like another generation.
Constantly saying the exact dumb shit that not only gets them excited but confuses them and it confuses their reality the way that Trump is just kind of naturally able to. I don't know. Yeah, they might try. They might have somebody that's like, you get on the crazy Truth Social posts, okay, and then I'm gonna get on the whatever, but it's not gonna be the same. It's gonna be like a new Coke or whatever.
I think that if something is going to pin at least a large segment of the MAGA base together when Trump expires, it is going to be the evangelical movement. I think they're a black hole of that, and they're a huge financial power that is more diffuse than Peter Thiel, which has always been their strength, is that they're just hard to attack directly, right? Like, they spend their money on all of these individual nonprofits that can hide their money in, church protected 501c3s. They have congregations that give them money, that they tell them to give them money. And you have the attachment of religious fervor that goes with that. I think the MAGA base will, at least a sizable portion of it, will consolidate around whoever their preacher tells them to. And I think for a lot of those preachers, that is not Peter Thiel's camp.
Yeah,
because
that's what I was going to say. There is no single person. There's going to be factions.
Which is why he's been doing that. Well, he was doing that seminar or whatever, talking about the Antichrist, I bet.
Right.
Because he recognizes he doesn't have power in that field as much as he wants. So.
Right. Because Christian nationalism has no coherent theology. They just have a coherent strategy.
Right.
Once the figurehead leader, once Trump is gone, they're going to start nitpicking each other's dumbass white power theologies, like the Protestants did,
right,
in Europe, like tiny little differences that seem meaningless to the rest of us are going to be sources of division for them that they're willing to kill over, and
right,
they will splinter into. There will be lots of mini MAGAs all over the country,
right,
instead of one giant MAGA, because the charismatics, even the charismatic Protestants hate Catholicism. The Catholics all think that the Mormons and the Protestants are heretics, and the Mormons are just weird anyway. So all of those people are found in the Christian nationalist movement right now, and they're all backing Trump. And so when Trump is gone, I don't think anyone else is waiting in the wings who will hold that alliance together.
I think the Mormons will weather the storm the best of those disparate Christian groups.
Yeah.
Just because they have not been part of the broader Christian nationalist coalition all that long. It's only been 13 years. And their leadership hasn't had a ton of turnover. So I imagine they are ready to go back to being on the outskirts of Christian society, as it were.
Yeah.
Whereas the other ones, I wouldn't mind if the Catholics and the Protestants had it out.
Yeah.
I think it would be good for them.
Fighting the streets.
This is an opportunity for pagans to rise up. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, pagans, if you're out there, get on it. Because yeah, I think that
So that's what Project 2025 is all about. They want to consolidate power around a Christian theocracy, an ill-defined Christian theocracy. They define it as Christian based on specific political outcomes they want to achieve and not on a unified theological underpinning. So
right.
Once they consolidate power, then whoever ends up on top can just eliminate the other theological factions. And the rest of us will still be stuck with Christian nationalism.
Right. When it comes to this, like Project 2025 Christian nationalism, I want to emphasize, especially for anyone who is a new listener or a contrary listener, the biggest political movement doing violence against Christians in American history is MAGA.
Yep.
MAGA is supportive of violently kidnapping Christians off the streets with no due process, with masked operatives all day, every day. And they have put a bunch of money into the budget of the Department of Kidnapping Christians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big Field, if you're going to be hyperbolic, at least be accurate with your media references. Come on. That's not what it is. Game of Thrones is more, apt for what will happen when Trump dies, for sure. Except it's not going to happen over a long period of time and then suddenly a very short period of time, like Game of Thrones did.
Yeah. What's happening right now is the lead up to The Handmaid's Tale.
So I have a video here by an old dude, just some old guy.
Guy.
He's saying some stuff. He's old, though. He might not say anything worthwhile. I don't know if he's ever said anything worthwhile. This guy.
Very much for joining me. Dangerously, President Trump and Health and Human Services Secretary Robert Kennedy are wreaking havoc on our already broken and dysfunctional healthcare system. I love the slogan. It's a great slogan. Make America healthy again. Fantastic. Unfortunately, the Trump administration is doing just the opposite. You don't make America healthy by throwing 15 million people off the health care they have, which is what Trump's big, beautiful bill does. You don't make—
I like how Bernie can't even be bothered to do like the full quotes sometimes. He's just like putting his hands up and he goes,
He doesn't have time for that anymore. He's got shit to do.
Make America healthy by, as a result of these Medicaid cuts, shutting down or creating a decline in services for hundreds of nursing homes, community health centers, and hospitals throughout the country. But it gets even worse than that. Secretary Kennedy has just fired the head of the CDC, Dr. Susan Monterez.
You know what's coming next, guys? You know what's coming. Banning the COVID vaccine.
Yeah, it's already in the talks. Yeah,
the one Trump implemented.
Yeah, no, they've
the only good thing he did in his entire fucking administration the first time. If you want to give him credit for that, it wasn't really him, but like he just pressed a button and things that were already in place happened. But yeah, crazy. No. I mean, they've been going around the country apparently, and they're getting really good numbers at their rallies that he's been doing with AOC and stuff, and that's good. But I don't know if it's enough for a left-wing party. It's just
there can never be more than two parties in this country because of the way our election system works. Mathematically, it's never going to be possible. So the only option for the left is to take over one of the two main parties somehow.
Right.
The one
form a coalition within one of them. That's it.
Unless we can, I don't know. That'd be the only thing, really. That's the only viable plan as far as I see it.
Yeah.
I think it's.
Yeah. If we could wave a magic wand and switch over to like ranked choice voting or a parliamentary system, then we could talk about third parties. But that's not where we are.
If you don't have ranked choice where you live, you should pay attention to your local politics, which you should be doing anyway, and look for the opportunity to vote that as the way that you vote in your area. Because Portland did it for mayor for the first time this last election. It was pretty cool.
New York did it, and look, they got Zoran Mondani.
Well, Yep.
who's almost certainly going to win.
Yeah.
Depending on what kind of shenanigans the the centrists pull out.
They're trying. Trump money. What they're doing is they're using Trump money because his super
Jesus
PACs
Christ.
are financing Cuomo.
I mean, I don't think that's true, man. I think that he technically kind of did win it.
No,
It's not about winning the Democratic primaries. It's about taking over at the grassroots. So don't focus on the primaries. You begin by taking over local elections, like the local school boards, the local
if your
judges.
view of politics is just I'm going to wait until the news starts showing me stuff, that's not good.
Right. Doesn't help.
You need to start paying attention. You need to know things before the average person knows what's going on. You need to know who the candidates are, what the issues are, things like that. If otherwise you're just kind of a passive observer and you are kind of throwing away a good bit of your power that way.
Well, and I do think we have a lot of they're on the outskirts, but you have people like the Squad and Maxwell Frost who are good progressive Democrats pushing for good progressive causes. I think those people are more likely to push the Democratic Party in the right direction than Bernie Sanders is at this point, especially because Bernie Sanders is an independent, and there's just going to be some people in the party who are never going to forgive him for that.
Yeah,
even though that's why he's held his seat for as long as he has.
Yeah, it's worth noting that in the oligarchy tour, AOC and Bernie both said openly at every stop that it's taking back Congress from the right wing is going to depend locally on how viable the Democratic Party is. And if the Democratic Party is not viable in your area and you're a progressive, they say you should probably run as an independent.
Yeah.
Because people hate the Democratic Party.
Right.
And that's a consequence of Trump's presidency that I think nobody saw coming, is that, or at least nobody in the Democratic Party saw coming, is that the Democratic Party is falling apart because their hypocrisy at the institutional level and their corruption at the institutional level is being laid bare for the voters in a way that it probably would not have been for another generation or so if we didn't have Trump in the presidency right now. And the voters, according to polling data, seem to have caught on to this.
And I think part of it, part of that is that I think that slightly pushback, I guess. The oligarchy-controlled media ecosystems favor one party over the other. There's a reason that when the Democrats do something, it's an active voice, whereas the Republican Party, and whenever they do something, it's treated as an act of nature. Republican politicians are not responsible for the things Republican politicians do. That's just
the media,
their nature.
Like the news coverage.
That's the news coverage of how how the news talks about Republicans versus Democrats, right?
Yeah.
They talk about Republican corruption as though that is business as usual. The expectation that we all have been given, and rightly so, is that the Republican Party is corrupt by their nature.
Mm-hmm.
The media, however, treats that as something that is natural and not to be criticized, questioned, opposed.
The fact that any news outlets don't just call it what it is right now is shows that. Like, I mean,
yeah,
you can go read an article from NBC News or whatever. It talks about something the administration's doing. It's not going to mention the fact that this is unless it's something to do with being, challenging the Constitution explicitly, that might not mention that it's an unconstitutional thing that's going on or stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's just going to treat it like it's a normal thing. It's yeah.
They treat the Republican corruption as normal. And when Democrats get caught doing corrupt shit, that's a story, versus when Republicans do it, it's business as usual.
Right, because it's expected.
Worse than that, the media will report something that's blatantly unconstitutional that Trump is doing.
Yes.
Like you said, as if it's just business as usual, as like it's always been this way. And then when a Democrat speaks out about it publicly, the media pounces on them as like, well, that's a hot take. Why
so-and-so is attacking the president for...
Yeah. Are you anti-Semitic? Are you, why don't you condemn Hamas? Or why don't you condemn Antifa? But they don't ever ask the Republicans, why are you against the Constitution? Why are you trying to stop people from voting? They just act like stopping people from voting is the natural thing to do.
Right. Why are you for school shootings? Why are
Yes.
you for poisoning our food and water?
Yeah.
Right. There is this one-sided coverage to it that goes back so far that I think a lot of people are just cooked in that sauce, both on the right and the left, that I don't even know how to address it, right? I'm just like, it's a problem that I can see, but like, I don't want to treat Democratic corruption as acceptable, or Democratic ally corruption as acceptable. I don't think that's okay. But then when we criticize the Republicans for corruption, it's all of these other things. It's all of these straw men and goalpost shifting and Mott and Bailey stuff that, like, well, where do we direct our energy?
Yeah. I think what's changed at the level of the electorate is that prior to the current era, it was just accepted that a certain level of corruption is the cost of doing business in a democracy.
Yeah.
And we were willing to turn the other cheek to that and therefore endorse it as long as the results were overall good for as many people as possible.
Right.
At the level of the electorate, not office holders. So like people would tolerate backroom deals as long as it meant the water wasn't being polluted anymore in their local reservoir, that kind of thing.
Right.
And I think that has changed now. I mean, the Israel-Palestine issue is the best example of that, I think, where that the corruption of all of the corruption around that issue in American politics in the Democratic Party was tolerated for a long time, both because a lot of people at the institutional level were Zionists, and also because a lot of voters didn't really give a shit about that issue as long as they got like gay marriage or some other domestic liberal issue.
Right.
And now that all of those things are being taken away from them, and the Democrats are not fighting to keep them, the Democrats as a party are not really fighting to keep them, all of us are questioning whether that deal was worth making in the first place.
Yeah. So that will, to sort of circle us back around a topic, what does this Bernard Sanders young man have to say?
I don't know.
Who has been on the job for just a few weeks. Her crime? Well, she refused to be a rubber stamp for Kennedy's anti-vaccine conspiracy theories. That is her crime. That's why she was fired. In other words, she believes what virtually the entire medical and scientific community believe, and that is that vaccines are an enormously important public health tool which protect the health and welfare of our children and all Americans. It is a bit absurd to have to say this in the year 2025, but let me say it. Vaccines are safe and effective. Let me say it again. Vaccines are safe and effective. That, of course, is not just my view. Far more importantly, it is the overwhelming consensus of the medical and scientific communities. The American Academy of Pediatrics, the largest professional association of pediatricians in our country, representing over 67,000 doctors who treat our kids every day. They called immunizations, quote, one of the greatest public health achievements, preventing tens of thousands of deaths and millions of cases of disease, end quote. That's the pediatricians. The American Medical Association, the largest professional association of physicians and medical students in our country, representing over 270,000 doctors, along with 79 leading medical societies, recently said that vaccines for flu, RSV, and COVID-19 are, quote, the best tools to protect the public against these illnesses and their potentially serious complications, end quote. The World Health Organization, an agency comprised of some of the most prominent medical experts around the globe, representing 194 countries, found that over the past 50 years, vaccines have saved 154 million lives and reduced the infant mortality rate by 40%. Unfortunately, Mr. Kennedy, the head of U.S. government public health agencies, doesn't agree with the leading doctors and scientists in our country and around the world. He believes that, quote, autism does come from vaccines, end quote, despite more than a dozen rigorous scientific studies involving hundreds of thousands of children that have found no, quote, no causal association, end quote, to link vaccines to autism. He has called the COVID-19 vaccine, quote, the deadliest vaccines ever made, end quote, despite findings from the WHO that these vaccines saved 20 million lives throughout the world during the pandemic.
So yeah, he's calling for RFK Jr. to be fired, which, you know, yeah, but
Into deep space.
I don't think Trump's going to hear this and go, "Oh shit, he makes a good point."
So
Yeah.
I think we're talking about RFK and his role in the Republican Party and his role in this Christian nationalist movement. Fascism is innately, it's part of the deal, eugenicist.
Yes.
And RFK Jr. is a eugenicist. His plan to make America healthy is to kill a lot of people.
Yep. This is where my folks are the ones that are being targeted. Because he specifically, you know, just wants to end autism.
Right.
And I tell you what, man, yeah, I understand that there are, it's a broad spectrum. There's so many different expressions of autism that in different people that, you know, I understand that some of them are very difficult to manage as like a parent and stuff like that. I get that. But I mean, I wouldn't change anything about myself, be honest. And I don't think that vaccines made me this way. You know, I mean, if they did, then what are you saying? I'm vaccines make superhumans or something? Because that's what you're talking about. You're talking about me. So no.
Yeah. And I'm willing to bet that the vast majority of parents of autistic children would not want their children sent to a work camp.
Right.
Which is what RFK wants to do, along with people who have like depression and other forms of mental illness. He thinks they don't need medication. They just need something to do. So he wants to send them on to wellness camps.
Where it's like, just go outside. You don't need these pills. Just go outside into nature. He's one of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
And hey, Mark, don't activate my fucking, don't do it, man. You're gonna activate my autism supremacy, and then I'm gonna start fucking going for rant. And
yeah, they're gonna have to boot Dane from the stream.
We're new superior, you know. Anyway,
I'm reaching for the mouse, Dane. Don't make me do it. I'll do it. You gave me the power.
he literally quoted Magneto.
I know he did.
What am I supposed
He's
to do?
stirring the pot. Be better
Not
than
start
that.
talking about Nero superior people. Come on, we're here.
All right, Dane, that's enough of you.
Wow.
Have you learned your lesson?
Yes, I've learned my lesson. But that's why RFK Jr. is scared of us, I think.
Yeah,
You know?
no, he's
So you agree with Nero superior theory? Okay.
no.
Okay.
He's xenophobic.
That's what it is.
He's afraid
no,
of
he's-
you because
he's-
you don't
it's
think
ableism.
like
What-
him.
It's fucking ableism. It's not even, I mean, it's ableism, but it's more than that. It's just this general, like, I was raised in ultimate fucking lavish fucking luxury privilege. That's him. And you know, and yet he still fucked his own life up at every turn for a lot of years.
Yeah.
And now he feels like, you know, he looks around and he actually, like, in to some degree, I bet on some level he does care about society in some fucked up way. You know, I mean, it's obviously a fucked up way, but like, it's maybe coming from a sincere like desire to, but he doesn't actually have a practiced ability to empathize with people that he doesn't understand. So, you know, it's just much easier for him to otherize things he doesn't understand and that are different from him. You know, when I'm like, hey man, maybe we should get rid of anybody that fucking sounds like they're, you know, chewing on gravel and glass when they talk. I don't know. That's my position, but I'm not going to fucking advocate for that because, you know, that'd be fucked up.
It would be fucked up. Don't do that.
I think people with brain worms
Yeah.
should not be given positions of political authority. Mr. Mind is not going to be the best guy to run the healthcare system. There's no Shazam coming to save us from Mr. Mind.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the sad thing is that he's you know, he's in power.
Right.
But
He is,
you
he
know,
is
I
in
mean,
power.
by the way, his entire family, like all of the other Kennedys, have fucking, you know, tried to warn everybody whenever he was running for president. They tried to warn everybody when he hooked up with Trump. You know, that nobody fucking in the Kennedy family but him thinks that he's like somebody to be listened to. Yeah, if you work out in jeans, that's true. Fuck that, man. That's
Hey,
crazy.
you want to know why he works out in jeans? Because he doesn't work out his legs, guys.
Oh, yeah.
That's why. It's all aesthetics for him. He's taking lots of hormones and can't complete actual push-ups. All that puffy redness he's got comes from doing a minimal amount of work with steroids, and he doesn't work out his legs. So that's why I think he wears jeans.
You got him dialed in.
Yeah.
Well, we do have so Trump didn't die, but somebody
yet
close to him almost did. And so let's look at this really bizarre fucking statement about Rudy Giuliani's accident that he had last night. This is from his secretary.
Can we do a dramatic reading?
So, official statement for immediate release. On the evening of August 30th, 2025, in New Hampshire, Mayor Giuliani was involved in a motor vehicle accident. Prior to the incident, he was flagged down by a woman who was the victim of domestic violence incident. Mayor Giuliani immediately rendered assistance and contacted 911. He remained on scene until responding officers arrived to ensure her safety. Following this, while traveling on the highway, Mayor Giuliani's vehicle was struck from behind at high speed. He was transported to a nearby trauma center where he was diagnosed with a fractured thoracic vertebrae, multiple lacerations and contusions, as well as injuries to his left arm and lower leg. His business partner and medical provider were promptly contacted and arrived at the hospital to oversee his care. At this time, no further updates are available. This is the only statement authorized by Mayor Giuliani, which I imagine has something to do with the conspiracy theories circling around those fucking people. They're like, this is the only thing that you should listen to. Don't listen to anything in the memes. But like, that first part doesn't have anything to do with it. Like, what is all that? There's more words about that part than
anything
and also
else.
this guy can't do anything without mentioning 9/11.
No.
You
know? Noun, verb, 9/11.
But like, so I've seen some theories postulating that a sex worker.
That might be person he almost ran over.
Oh, right. Because they're gonna have to explain why he was with a woman before this happened.
I think so.
Yep.
Is he married?
I mean, fuck, I hope not.
Was
right.
I don't know. Now I want to find out. All right, we have the internet.
Because if he's not married, I don't care.
I don't care.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, nobody
even if he is married, I don't care. But
I was gonna say, I don't know that I care either way.
That's still an ethical. It's still an ethical issue. But if he's not married, why would I give a shit if he's with a woman?
He was divorced in 2019.
I wonder.
Okay, so he's single.
Too. I wonder whose drinking problem caused the end of that. I wonder if there were things said like you are more in love with Donald Trump than with me or something like that. You know, probably so. I'm gonna pretend that happened. Yes, people are allowed to call themselves mayor for the rest of their lives and shit. Especially like he was America's mayor, so he's never gonna let go of that until he.
I didn't vote for him.
Right. What's fucked up about him is that, and I didn't know this till I watched some documentaries a while back, but like he was the guy that fucking took down the New York mob.
Yeah, he was.
He was like anti fucking corruption. I mean, who knows if he was corrupt then himself or if he just kind of decided, well, no, they've got rid of those guys. I can be corrupt. Who knows?
He was getting rid of the competition.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds like they're trying to imply he was a tax and retribution. Oh, for helping the woman. I mean, they put that information there for some fucking reason that is going to be revealed later, I think.
Probably.
They're trying to get ahead of some narrative. And that's the bottom part indicates that too. Yeah. I'm starting to find anything about
that
what's-
narrative is my foot up his ass. No, I'm kidding. I would never assault Rudy Giuliani, especially because all you have to do is poke him to do it, right? You have to gently brush up against him passing through in a hallway. What a piece of work, that guy. That Rudy Giuliani fella. Remember when he was melting?
Yeah. Yeah, like that happens when you just tell too many or too big of a lie, I think.
You
Like
just
sometimes-
start to leak reality.
No, he was just cosplaying Jean-Baptiste Emmanuel Zorg. That's all.
Oh, God. Stop the planet. I want to get off.
Yes, Big Fieldy, he was in one of those Borat movies, and that was I think may have contributed to a lot of his current troubles because they caught him on camera being alone in a hotel room with a woman that he believed was a teenager.
Right.
And putting his hand down his pants.
Yep.
He was just adjusting.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so there were 3 people in the car.
There were 3 people in his car?
Yeah. So the driver of the Honda was Lauren Kemp, 19.
Okay. Go on.
That's interesting. Is a Honda HRV crashed into the back of a Ford Bronco, sending both cars into the median.
Of course, it's a Ford Bronco.
The driver of the Honda, Lauren Kemp, 19, of Concord, and the driver of the Bronco, Theodore Goodman of Michigan, suffered non-life-threatening injuries and were taken to nearby hospitals. I'm sorry. Wait, let me see. Hold on. I'm confused here.
Wait, was it a pile-up accident?
I'm sorry. So I was wrong. She was not driving. He was in a Bronco. He was in the Bronco. He was rear-ended.
in the Bronco.
Yep, that's even better.
That's even better. This story gets
Theodore
better. all
Goodman
the
of
time.
Michigan, and Lauren Kemp rear-ended them. So okay, so for a second I was like, after you just said the thing about that teenage girl too, I was like, oh man, he was in a car with a 19-year-old. Oh no.
Oh, not again.
So yeah, he's 81 years old.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So he was driving the Bronco.
No, Theodore Goodman was driving the Bronco.
Okay, he was just in the Bronco with Mr. Goodman.
I don't know if he was in the back, like threatening to kill himself or what, but
Well, no, Giuliani's the type of guy that would have a driver. He wouldn't.
Yeah,
be
he'd have a
driving
driver.
himself.
Yeah. He's had a driver forever, I imagine.
And the Ford Bronco is kind of the compensation car of choice for politicians and businessmen.
Yeah. It's that or a Land Rover, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yep.
God. Just
gonna
that
look
it's a Bronco. It just like really. So you picked a Bronco.
I'm gonna look on Twitter. I'm gonna see what they say.
So don't do it. You're gonna start fighting with some sort of bread tuber, and it's gonna be. I'm just not gonna hear the end of it.
Oh, is that something that happens still? Do people still do that?
Yeah.
I don't understand why anyone on the left or even liberals are still on Twitter.
Yeah. Why are you still on Twitter?
It's just a Nazi bot farm now,
Right.
and that's been proven. That's not even an opinion. That's like
It's math.
the data is out there,
Right. That's just the math.
and yet we still have like major media institutions and big name reporters are still on Twitter, even though it is not and has never been the biggest social media platform.
Right.
It doesn't drive engagement for them from real people. I don't get it.
Yeah. No. Taylor Lorenz and ContraPoints were having a fight on there yesterday, and it made it. Oh, it's all my Blue Sky was whenever I logged on all day. I'm like, oh, we'll check Blue Sky, see what's going on. Shouldn't have looked at that.
Oh, they were doing it on Bluesky?
No, they were fighting on Twitter, but people were taking screenshots and sharing it on Bluesky.
See, like, neither of those women should be on Twitter anymore.
No, they shouldn't. That was my response. Is just like, because you have people arguing for both sides or whatever. I'm like, no, back up. Neither of these people should be on Twitter, and they know better.
Yeah, I thought Natalie had quit. That's right. She always comes back.
You're right. Yeah, did Natalie quit something? I couldn't tell.
Does she know that she doesn't have to? Maybe somebody should point that out to her.
Oh, God.
I think for people at that level of content creation, there's just something in them that craves the attention.
Yeah.
And craves the drama, you know?
I call it thought slime disease. Did I say that out loud? Shit.
You did. I mean, the name Thought Slime is good enough.
Good enough, yeah. I just like that guy. All right, we don't have to get into it. I don't want to get into fucking Twitter drama. It's my anathema.
Well, I know the justification for it for a lot of people is, well, I have to defend my reputation. And I'm like, no, you don't.
No, you don't.
The accounts on Twitter are not real people. There's no one there actually caring about your reputation except you.
The door is open, but nobody is home there. Like, it's just bots, or Nazis, who also are just laughing at you, right? They came here to laugh at you.
Yeah.
Why are you entertaining Nazis?
Fucking Nazis, you know?
Fucking
I do have
Nazis.
something kind of cool, kind of pleasant to check out real quick.
Ooh,
I
I
know we
like
can move on to
pleasant.
talking about the media sucking stuff.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that later, but we can do some nice stuff. I like nice things.
Apparently the buttons for removing the thing from the, like, nothing is okay. There we go. Fucking crazy. All right, here's this. So apparently this person replaced somebody at some point. I don't know, like I guess you replaced somebody that was you know, pro Palestine. And so this
Oh,
is
no,
Parson
Eric
Grant, and I
Adams.
was just looking.
Eric
that what it
Adams, the
was?
mayor, had
Oh, yeah.
somebody else's show canceled
Yes,
on some
yes.
other day.
That's
What
what
a
it
punk.
was. And well, then this is there's this.
Make a noise if you have Irish heritage. Who here has Irish heritage? And so then, okay, get your phone out, because at the end of our set here, we're going to engage in a very proud Irish tradition together. You ready?
That's awesome. Wholesome content right there.
Oh, it is for just another second or so.
Uh-oh. I don't want Netanyahu anywhere near my dick, thank you. Not for all the marbles.
Anyway, what is the black community fighting for Taylor Lorenz on Threads? Do I want to know? Is it about the Democrat shills?
Is it on Threads or Twitter? Because if it's Twitter, I'll return to my question. Why is the black community on Twitter? Why is anyone on Twitter?
Yeah,
Get off of Twitter.
Please, for the love of Zod,
Okay. Well,
may we kneel before him.
you know, we almost did a show on that. Just to be full disclosure, we almost did a show on this topic, and decided not to because it as it did in the discussion of that, and basically, well, at any point, obviously, is just going to devolve into What'd you say, Bob?
I said wisely so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just going to become like, well, the Democrats are, you know, it's. And my question to all of it is basically like, how many genocides are being perpetrated right now?
Right.
We know that there's one in Gaza. Yeah. I feel pretty strongly that there's a slow rolling attempted genocide against trans people. Morgan, how do you feel about that?
I would agree. I would say there's a much faster one moving against our immigrant communities.
Yeah, and as we just discussed, I feel like there's they're starting to prep set the table for one against autistic people and other disabled folks. So
there's also one in the Congo that's going on right now.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying like the ones that directly the Republican Party is facilitating or even just making happen.
I mean, we're certainly nearing ethnic cleansing in Ukraine.
Yeah.
So until that's not the case, I just feel like it doesn't really make a lot of sense to just, I don't know. It makes sense to criticize the Democratic Party. It makes sense to criticize people who take money from the Democratic Party. But there's also a lot of stuff that is being said about that situation that I haven't seen to be true, at least in the couple of content creators that I follow really just one that is wrapped up in that whole thing. So it's I don't know.
I'm happy to let them fight it out, and I cannot be bothered to care. I have shit to do.
I just will say I went to the website as soon as I heard the name Chorus. I went to the website, looked at it. There's pictures of several of the content creators on their website. It's not as clandestine as I think that's the one thing criticism I have of Taylor Lorentz's article is it's very much written with like it's a sinister thing, and I just don't think that it is. I think it's misguided. I think it's bad optics, and bad optics on the left tends to mean bad ethics, which I think that it is to accept money without disclosing that. But as far as like just being paid shills for the Democrat Party, I don't know about some of the content creators. I don't watch them really, but I mean Brian Tyler Cohen, yes, like that's the reason I don't watch him, because
he's very
just like straight up party line all the time. That's all. And I'm not really for that. So
I just think it's important to remind online leftists and leftists in general that our natural allies in the fight against fascism are liberals.
Mm-hmm.
If you cannot radicalize liberals or pull liberals further to the left, you have no business being involved in political advocacy. And this is the kind of thing that undermines that effort.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whatever there may, I mean, there's always legitimate ethical issues to be discussed in any kind of political organizing or whatever.
And also, like,
and that's fine, but it doesn't need to be dragged out in public like this.
A lot of the implications of some of these leftists that I've argued with and seen over the years are just like that just like focus more on the Democrats than anything else. For one thing, I think that they're partly to blame for getting us where we are by, having bad priorities, or just, in certain cases like Caleb Maupin and stuff being exposed as actually just being fascists. But like the implication with a lot of their criticism seems to be that they think that if their political system was in place, that it would just be, we wouldn't have to worry about it. And it's like, if you think any political system should be without criticism and won't eventually, find some corruption seeping through the cracks, you know what I mean? Then I don't know, you're fucking naive, because that's going to happen. We have to be vigilant no matter what political system we have, no matter what, economic system we have, whatever it is. You can't just, stop paying attention and go, okay, everything's cool now.
You know what happens when you don't pay attention when you're running a political system?
Fascism? Mm-hmm.
Or alternatively, a pretzel tries to assassinate you.
Oh dear, that sounds crazy. So, is this something that we need to explore?
I think we should talk about the pretzel.
I wish I had a Tipper Gore experience graphic. Why haven't I done that already?
Oh, we do need a Tipper Gore experience graphic.
I need to find her saying something that is appropriate or whatever, and just like, I don't know, but yeah, Tipper Gore experience. I don't know what's going on. I don't know anything about this pretzel thing, so let's hear it.
All right. So the reason I'm bringing this up is when we're talking about dying presidents and how the media covers things, I would like us all to cast our memories, should we have them, back to the year 2002.
Oh man. Okay.
And early.
I remember it well.
Are we talking about? We're going to be talking about like watching Lord of the Rings movies in the theater, because that's where immediately where my brain goes.
That's where your brain goes. That's a good place to go. And if you watched Lord of the Rings over your Christmas holiday,
Yeah.
that year, then just a few weeks later, the president almost choked to death on a pretzel.
I know that it's like not really even like accurate to call him stupid the way that we used to. He wasn't a stupid president. He was just very limited, I think, in his focus probably.
He had a very particular set of skills, and
that's pretty
being
stupid.
president was not one of
Choke
them.
on a pretzel.
So let me pull up the old let me get a picture. This is from the New York Daily News from back then. But here is a picture of President George W. Bush after being assaulted by a pretzel.
Right, because he fell down.
He
right?
fell
He
down.
was choking and he fell out of his chair.
God.
Yeah, he passed out choking from a pretzel.
Are you fucking kidding me? Are we sure that like Laura wasn't abusive or something?
I don't know. Okay, I think he could have like defended himself. Remember the shoe incident? That guy had the reflexes of a ninja.
He got both of those fucking shoes, dude. I remember that shit.
Yeah, he's got the cat-like reflexes. Yeah, that's
or no, he dodged him. That's what it was. He didn't catch him. He dodged him.
He dodged him. Yeah.
Catching him would have been cool too. I mean, honestly, that's the only cool thing he ever did. It's just fucking Neo Matrix dodging those fucking shoes.
So to go back to January 14th, 2002, President Bush set off a White House scare yesterday when he fainted and fell off a couch while choking on a pretzel, officials said. I do not find any reason that this would happen again, said White House physician Dr. Richard Tubb. I love the name.
And then it happened again.
Because you know what you get pretzels in is a tub. This guy's in on it.
Oh, God.
He fainted due to a temporary decrease in heart rate brought on by swallowing a pretzel. And I love how that this is the 2002 coverage of President Bush, the guy who has gotten us into one war and is looking to start a second one. After regaining conscious, Bush looked like a pummeled prize fighter. He had a $50 bruise on his left cheek and a busted lower lip, apparently from tumbling off the couch and hitting the floor, Tubb said. Just to like, when I scroll back up, does this guy, whatever you think of him, does he look like a prize fighter?
No, not at all.
I will say he looks more hurt than a guy who fell and cut his ear.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Also, this article reminded me of something. So Bush was in the room with his two dogs watching the Baltimore Ravens play the Miami Dolphins on TV when the pretzel went down the wrong pipe and caused him to choke. The president figured he wasn't out for more than a moment, according to White House spokesman Ken Lesayas. Do you remember when presidents had dogs?
Yeah, Trump doesn't like them.
Trump doesn't like dogs, which should tell you something. Because dogs know people.
Yeah.
They're good at it.
He's definitely been at least almost bitten by one that never bites anybody before.
Well, the Secret Service, like, from everything anyone has ever said about Biden's dogs, were the nicest fucking dogs on the planet.
Well,
both of them were like, fuck the Secret Service. And that was telling.
And Eagley almost got Trump, too, in his first term. True. I don't know if you remember the eagle incident, but there was
a bald eagle.
He was doing some kind of photo op with a bald eagle, and the eagle tried to attack him.
Wasn't that before he was even elected?
Maybe.
I feel like maybe I'm mixing that up with the taco bowl thing. I don't know.
The taco bowl. I remember when he stared up at a eclipse. That was fun.
Yeah. It was really stupid. That thing, I feel like that was days after Charlottesville.
Something like that.
Right. It was very close to Charlottesville. And the very fine Nazis.
The very fine Nazis. So yeah, this is
55. Remember when presidents were under 70?
Right? What a concept. But I think that's sort of an interesting throwback to, like, we've had a weekend of media over whether or not the president is dead. And this isn't even the first time we've had that happen this century.
I'm having trouble imagining current media reporting on a Trump health incident like that article just reported on Bush's health incident, because that was relatively just a matter of fact explanation of, hey, the president almost died, but lucky for us, someone knows the Heimlich maneuver, and everything's
And now
cool.
the Democrats are blah 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 blah. You know,
right.
that's what
Well, that's what the news article from 2002 didn't do, but I can see the news today doing that.
Right. Like the only editorializing we really had was him like looking like a prize fighter. Like, come the fuck on. But also,
he had to get explicit permission from his editor for that too. You know, the writer. So nowadays,
back then
like,
possibly.
Nowadays,
that was right after 9/11.
Make it as crazy as you can.
Yeah. Now he looks like he was shot by, you know, Antifa super soldiers. Yeah. So it's just like this interesting point of comparison about how we used to talk about our presidents. And not like within living memory this century, right? We don't have to go back to the 20th century to see how we used to talk about our elected officials. Look at this human piece
The
of shit.
Parents Music Resource Center is a nonprofit educational organization that exists for two purposes. To raise
To give
awareness
politicians'
about
wives something to do in their free
graphic
time.
content and some of the entertainment and some music and the
Because we live in a world now where feminism is a thing, and that means that while our husbands work, we get to do little projects that make us feel special. Because that's what feminism was in the 80s and 90s, apparently.
Well,
impact
as
on young
far as rich white women,
Yes,
yeah,
rich white liberals, yeah, for sure.
yes.
children.
I
We
wouldn't
were
call
able
her
to
a
get the
liberal.
recording in-
I mean, look, so I actually looking on some on YouTube. I looked up Tipper Gore. I just found a video from 6 years ago, an interview with her from a Seattle news thing. She's apparently a mental health advocate, and she talks about mental illness and homelessness. So,
wow, okay. I am going to retract my shit talking.
That just in that one instance, she was very much being a reactionary.
Yeah.
At least in that one instance. Oh God! Here's her PSA on the Clinton administration's healthcare plan.
Oh,
Jesus Christ! Well, how did that work out? Did we get that implemented, or?
I'm sure it went fine. I'm sure they haven't made a whole.
Did you know they separated 15 years ago? I didn't.
Who?
They divorced.
Yeah, they divorced.
Divorce?
A bunch of
Yeah.
videos about it.
Yeah, Alan Tipper divorced. So, ladies, Man Bear Pig is single now.
Oh, they absolutely did. They absolutely had the opposite effect of what they wanted.
Oh yeah.
That we talked about it when we covered it a long time ago. That
Right.
sticker is now a sign of pride for at least two genres of music. You know what I mean? That's the thing that they go for to get the that sticker on the thing. You know, Walmart, I think has actually started carrying them more now or something like that. But I mean, it's just like Walmart and a couple other places that people don't tend to buy music anyway that would even not stock that stuff. So like it was completely fucking not just pointless. It was actually worked against the goals. It's almost like she's like a sleeper aid or like a plant for rock and rap music where they like, you know, got her in there so that she would do that so that they could bump up their sales or something. But yeah.
Wow.
Well, what else we got?
That's what I had was my addition to this discussion as far as like.
Well, I mean, I think that the other thing we're going to talk about is kind of pretty obvious. It's like how long, I mean, how even before Biden was even voted in, he had dementia. He's, you know, blah, blah, you know, all these narratives and stuff. And like some of them may have been kind of true. You know, I think a lot of it, at least early on, was related to the fact that he, you know, had and I do believe this was the case in many cases. Like he did have a stutter when he was young.
Right. Yeah.
And he would, you know, and that still pops up even after you've worked on it for a long time, because there's a really wholesome video I saw one time of him talking to a kid that had a stutter that, you know, he admired Biden because he got past his stutter, and Biden tells him that like sometimes it still comes out.
Right.
And I mean, so anyway, but the fact is they nonstop went off. I mean, they did it with Hillary too. You know, it was very successful for them. They managed to keep her from winning.
Thanks, Comey.
Huh?
Thanks, Comey.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think she was probably doomed to not win anyway. But yeah, Comey definitely didn't help. Those.
I think that was the final. That was the thing that pushed it over the edge. Was when he reopened the Clinton investigation into her email server, which went nowhere, and like then Trump rat fucked him.
Right. You know, I kind of hope that he had a moment of like, oh, I kind of fucked up there, huh? Like whenever Trump brought him in Godfather style, and was like, so you're gonna be loyal? You know, it's like,
well, he wrote a book about it. That's what all these guys do, right? Is they write a book about it.
Yeah. But anyway,
I think we should identify what changed in the way that the media covers politics in the United States. And what changed is the elimination of the fairness doctrine.
Yes.
I
I credit that or damn that as being the genesis of like, I mean, everything. It's like you go, if anybody doesn't know what the fairness doctrine is, it means that basically if you were allowed to have airwaves, if you were allowed to use the airwaves in the country to talk about, you know, politics, that you essentially had to give some kind of a time to the opposite, you know, or the other side of an opinion piece or whatever. And then that went away.
Right. And even before it goes away, it's kind of in the process of going away because it only applied to broadcast news over the radio and television. So newspapers were much more integral to media distribution back then. Never had something like that ever. And then as we get
it was just FM radio, right? It wasn't AM.
That I don't know.
Because
it was
like AM radio, huh?
It was both, but there were loopholes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because the airwaves are, even to this day, a utility.
Right.
They're not privately owned. And basically, like all of the content producing companies are essentially renting space in our public airwaves from the government. And the fairness doctrine required such companies to not take a political stance on divisive issues. So if they ran editorials by a Republican, they had to give Democrats the opportunity to publish a retort, etc. And so that doctrine was taken away, and media outlets were suddenly allowed to be politically partisan.
And that's you know, you had when did that lapse actually?
87.
Okay, so yeah, that was right then was whenever Rush Limbaugh entered the fray, and he was the kind of fucking patient zero of conservative insanity as far as like mainstreaming narratives and shit like that, and then he had plenty of years to practice and for conservatives to listen to him before, you know, and Fox News started you know, they definitely were always coming from a right-wing perspective, but there was a time whenever they actually did just talk about some news items without getting you know, weird about it.
If you go back and look at Fox News segments from when Fox News got started and compare them to Fox News today, you will think you're watching CNN.
Yeah.
It's insane.
And then if you watch CNN today, you'll think you're watching Fox News from 20 years ago.
Yeah, because you are.
You are.
And that's folks, that's the old Overton window right there. If you want a visual or, you know, kind of a rundown of what that looks like, that's what it is. And then so I made that timeline that one time that kind of showed what I think the whole, you know, thing was about, and where it was heading, where we're at, which was that you know, the fairness doctrine. Then you had Roger Ailes, Rupert Murdoch hired Roger Ailes to run Fox News, and
everything's downhill from there.
Yeah, it started going downhill, but at the same time, you already had AM radio. I mean, or was it FM or AM? I don't know.
AM
but then satellite radio got into it, and you started having like Hannity on satellite radio and shit. I remember driving with my brother's friend in 2000. I want to say 3 or 4, maybe 2. I don't know, something around there. Where my brother had moved to Atlanta for a few years, had a job there, and one of his friends was going to visit, and so I rode with him. And this was a friend that was a conservative, and he was listening to, you know, fucking Republican shit on you know, and I wasn't even really that I was definitely just kind of intuitively liberal, you know what I mean, but I didn't really pay much attention to shit. And I remember just hearing some crazy fucking shit, and I remember that it was specifically Sean Hannity saying it,
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? What's his deal? You know? I think it was before he at least had the primetime news show that he has now. But anyway, you know, so they've been laying the groundwork for a long time. And that's why they're, you know, that's why they're doing all the shit so quickly that they're doing now, because this is not something that they just lucked into.
No.
You know, they fucked up their first opportunity by not having a plan, because I don't think anybody expected them to win. And, you know, so they kind of just bumbled their way through the first administration, and then they tried to fucking, you know, keep them in power by, you know, doing a whole insurrection thing. It didn't work out, but, you know, or you could say, you know, I've saw somebody saying that in a way that January 6th did work.
Yeah, it did.
You know,
because part of it is that no one paid any prices for it, right?
Well,
like,
they did,
sure,
and they didn't.
And that, like, anyone who did ended up getting pardoned, right? But like most of the people who were in charge of that, your Senator Ron Johnson's, your Rudy Giuliani's, Tom Cotton, all those guys,
probably a gay man, seems like.
All those guys walked, right? Not one of them faced a grand jury investigation, much less actual prosecution for their crimes.
Right. And you look at a similar event that happened in Brazil with Bolsonaro and Lula. I forget Lula's real name, but his popular name is Lula.
Lula, yeah.
When Lula got elected and there was an insurrection to try to keep Bolsonaro in power, they instantly arrested Bolsonaro. Like the same fucking day, I think.
Right.
They arrested him immediately, and they arrested everyone who had any association with the movement at all. Now, not all of them got prosecuted.
Right.
But it was a political statement. They made a political statement by doing that.
Right.
And we kind of just went, oh, well, I guess it's just how Republicans are.
Right. That's just what Republicans do. They said they were going to do it for months. What did you think was going to happen? It's like, I thought they would do jail time for it. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Like you said, we treat it like a force of nature. Like Trump is like a hurricane or something. There's nothing you can do about it.
And wait for it to be over, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Except it's not going to be over if we don't do anything.
No, it's this, you know, I think this is the problem with the Democratic establishment is that I think you have half of them that prefer to be the minority party because it means they don't have to do anything. They don't have to make hard decisions, right? And the other half has their head in the sand that, like, at some point the American people will wake up to this, and it's just like, in what ecosystem? How are they going to get this information? What are you doing to distribute it? You're not.
Yeah. There was a story circulating a couple weeks ago, or I think a few months ago now, of a Democratic lawmaker who spoke on the, condition of anonymity, complaining about town hall meetings, and they felt insulted that their voters expected them to get arrested or to otherwise take actual risks to resist what's happening.
Right.
Like the Democrat was resentful of that expectation.
And to the credit of some Democrats, they have put themselves out there and, they have had those confrontations. It's not enough of them. And it does not get the media coverage it needs. I think because it's especially when it's these Democratic Congress people, a lot of people don't even know who their congressperson is. Also, if you don't know who your congressperson is, open a new tab and figure it the fuck out.
Yeah, there's a website you can go to. Just type in the question, who is my congressional representative?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you'll find out right away.
Yeah.
And then find out where their office is. And
right.
Because a lot of them maintain office hours. And you can just go there and talk to them.
Yeah.
Here's my graphic I made.
There you go.
So yeah, it's mostly still, I think it's pretty accurate. There's obviously some stuff that's not included. It was kind of on the fly thing. But yeah. Shit really started going off the rails, and using a track as a metaphor here. It really started happening here, but I'm sorry, you can't see where I'm pointing. It started happening, like you said, the late 80s, early 90s with the ending of the Fair Doctrine Act. And then, yeah, it really got, things kind of went maybe farther than we can even understand at that point that, you know, Citizens United is a real problem.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, and then I remember when that study came out that was projecting, you know, whites as a minority majority or whatever, majority minority, whatever, how's it said? But a lot of people, I think, kind of lost their minds there. I feel like there was like a lot more of a push for, you know, just white supremacist shit started becoming more public there. Yeah.
Well, I think once you get to like the Tea Party, I think a lot of that smuggled a lot of white supremacy into non-white supremacist conservative spaces.
Yeah. You know, and this explains the alternate reality they live in because they did it on purpose, essentially.
Yeah.
They created it on purpose. And they are currently in the process now, updating this is to say that they have gotten the track off of the shared reality track, and now it's on theirs, and it's just they're trying to lay down the permanent tracks ahead of them,
right.
so that and then destroy the other track.
But I think they will destroy the other track well before they have created their own. I don't think that they can do what they want and consolidate their hyper reality without destroying reality.
True. Yeah, because as long as there's anything for, you know, sane people to hold on to or to point to or to appeal to or to build power on, then yeah, they will.
And this is why, you know, to sort of tie it all together, this is why you have all of these disparate enemy stories, right? You have all the Biden's old stories. And you know, to sort of make a point, I'm gonna come back to this. Put a pin in that. Put a pin in that. Pin is in. All the Biden's old stories, all of the various moral panics about different immigrant groups, whether it's, you know, people from South and Central America, whether it's people from the Middle East,
dogs and cats.
Right, people from Haiti, people from Southeast Asia, all of these different anti-immigrant narratives, obviously the anti-trans narrative. It is, and then also all of the anti-science, anti-medicine narrative is all about destroying consensus reality and making the failure of reality a you problem, right? Is that we have the technology to solve a lot of problems, but if we make it a moral failing for that problem to happen to you, then we don't have to solve it. You failed Make America Healthy Again by having a congenital disease, by getting COVID, by getting cancer, you know, all those things, getting in a car accident.
That's why their narratives about COVID, specifically their narratives about COVID were that, because it's like, oh yeah, you got COVID, but you wouldn't have died if you didn't have some other thing that was your fault.
Right. That's why they did that. That's why with the George Floyd killing, they made it all about his health. He died of a heart attack. Well, yeah, because a guy choked him to death. That's how that works. Yes, correct.
Yeah, and there's a belief that is shared by both elite, mostly secular, rich white people, and largely middle class and working class white evangelical people, is that sickness is always a personal failing.
Right.
It was a result of sin.
Yep.
And not. So it's always your fault.
It's almost like they believe in karma more than they actually do, you know, sin or anything like that, because they don't. Yeah. It's crazy. It's all just framings, it's structures that they build in the way they understand the world, so that they can always be right and always be good and righteous, and everybody else or anybody that you know, ends up screwed over or whatever, they don't have to worry about it.
Right.
Yeah.
So to pull out the pin and I think close the loop on what we're talking about today. Earlier this year, I mean, basically since last summer, all the way until earlier this year, any talk about the president's health was entirely centered around Joe Biden, even long after he was no longer president. It was a mainstream media story covered in every major news outlet, in every political persuasion. This Trump story about him potentially being expired is entirely a viral story in social media and in online alternative media spaces. You don't see it covered on NBC, right? You're not going to see it covered on Fox News.
They might, after a couple of days, they might cover the fact that it was a viral thing on these outlets.
Right.
Yeah.
And the story will then be that the internet is wrong and you shouldn't listen to the internet.
It's crazy, y'all.
And the internet is crazy, y'all, right? Like, you don't trust it because you read it online, or if you're going to trust but verify. Okay. But this, sort of really, to me, cements a lot of how we talk about our leaders. They're covering for Trump 100%, right? We've talked about how they cover him in the passive voice, how they ignore his health issues, how they ignore his mental stability, how they treat his acts as given, how they capitulate to his demands to get, FTC decisions they want, or FTC decisions they want. Whereas Democrats are expected to be the perfect adults at all time. And even to the point where Old Man is Old is a news story that gets coverage almost nonstop for the better part of a year. And didn't even do anything seemingly wrong, was just old and had some people help him because he was old. Like old people do. And young people, if you need help, get help. There's nothing wrong with needing help. Trump needs help. He can't run a fascist dictatorship by himself. Guy couldn't pull a trigger if he wanted to. Shoot his eye out like that fuckface.
I will say here that the health of the president, whoever that is,
sure,
is a matter of public interest, and it is a legitimate subject of journalism.
Sure.
However, as you pointed out, we have to be factual and balanced about it.
Yeah.
If they're going to cover what I think is the obvious fact that Joe Biden was sundowning at least in the final 2 years of his presidency, they should be giving the same level of coverage to Trump.
Right.
Or whoever comes after him. And the fact that they don't is the problem we're talking about here.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I wonder if Jake Tapper is perhaps working on an expose on Trump's health.
Almost certainly not. I would bet, because he sold a book, right? As these guys do. He sold a book. He ain't working on shit. Guy is doing signings and speaking tours and gonna take that money to the bank and just coast back to his day job. Also, shot. He's writing a book on Trump's health.
Also, they, all the talk they did about Biden sundowning, and they never, it seems like they eventually, if they were consistent anyway, which they're not, they would have started talking about this guy.
Welcome to the FAP. Nancy used to do that for me. Handsy Nancy, I called her.
Yeah. At the end of Reagan's presidency, historians are now, I think it's the historical consensus now that Reagan in the final part of his presidency just was not there.
Right. Yeah. Final 15 months or so was
he was gone, mentally gone. And the media didn't cover that at the time because they didn't do it with FDR either. FDR, the fact that FDR was in a wheelchair was hidden from the American public
the whole time.
So there's like kind of a deference to power built into, or maybe into the human psyche, I don't know, but definitely into the institutions we've set up in this country when it comes to the relationship between the media and the politicians.
Yeah.
And that's just gotten worse.
Yeah.
With the removal of the fairness doctrine and Citizens United and all of that stuff.
Right.
Because now it's deference to power has just become outright bootlicking.
Well, and it's deference to power in such a way that they will pre-defer to power when it comes to the Republicans and continue to tell a distraction narrative that has, if you want to break the story about Joe Biden sort of being past his prime in 2022, 2023, that's a good time to know that. I agree. Maybe that guy shouldn't run for president again. That would have been a great time to know that. And Jake Tapper's story says he knew all of that back then.
Yeah.
But he waited. He pushed the story as a news anchor in 2024 after the primaries were wrapped up. And then he pushed it into his book. And guy's not covering, he gave cover to Trump because both he's not telling the story of what's going on in contemporary events, but also it's this tu quo thing where like, well, we can just have old senile people be president now, and that's fine. When you covered it up,
old senile people run the media. This is the political power of the boomers, right?
This is true.
They're the largest American generation.
Yeah.
And like the youngest boomers are just now turning like 60.
Yeah.
Or like in their early 60s. So we're still going to be stuck with them
for
a long time.
Yeah.
But all of this is the political outlook of the boomer generation. And meanwhile, other countries are electing their first woman president, or, all their political leaders are digital natives, right?
Yeah.
And we're over here having a gerontocracy, a gerontocratic cacistocracy.
Right.
That's also trying to be a theocracy.
Well, and I wonder, do they if Trump dies, when Trump dies, what are the odds they try and pull a, speaks from the grave kind of thing where Trump is still in charge? It's just so-and-so is, ruling as his mortal voice on earth.
I don't think they'll try that.
You don't think they'll try that? We're not going to North Korea this shit? Okay.
Because that doesn't fit in with Christian theology in any recognizable way. And
what they are going to do,
a Christian movement.
What they are going to do is tour his goddamn corpse around the country in a fucking glass box or something, and it's going to be fucking gross.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and there's going to be like big state funerals. I mean, every president gets a state funeral, but I mean, there's going to be like.
But they're going to be like Stalin and have one fucking display for like 3 decades.
Yeah, there's already banners in D.C. right now with his face on it hanging off all the fucking buildings like it's North Korea already. And when he dies, they're going to do that to the whole fucking country.
You know what's interesting about the greatest generation is they're also the first one. And what I mean by that is that's not a way people thought about things until then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the greatest generation is the World War II generation. The boomers are their kids.
Right.
And the kids of the Korean War generation.
That's different. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You made that mistake. But yeah, that was the thing that like nobody thought about generations until World War II, whenever they're like, oh, these people are gonna come back from the war, they're gonna, have political opinions and stuff, and we gotta
really World War I.
Yeah.
Because a generation was, especially not so much here, but in Europe, and that certainly affected here, where a generation was wiped out almost wholesale.
Yeah. And you can tell that it wasn't really thought out because they started like Generation X. Like, man, you're starting kind of late in the fucking alphabet there. What are you doing? I didn't think about that too much, did you? Anyway, I got some videos to look at. I
love videos.
Got some comedy stuff here. Also, I have this. Check it out.
Mail-in ballots that you brought up earlier. Donald Trump announced today that he would sign an executive order to abolish mail-in ballots and voting machines before the 2026 midterms. It's an unprecedented federal overreach. It flouts state authority, and it's following the advice of Vladimir Putin, per Donald Trump's words. Per Donald Trump's words. So, if democracy is built on secure and accessible voting.
Did y'all see when he showed that picture? Holy shit, that's the most cringy fucking thing I've ever seen. He was fucking showing a picture that had been taken of him and Putin when they were together.
Yeah.
And he was just like showing it like the same way I would show if I like met, I don't know, fucking Jonathan Hickman or something. I'd be like, guys, look at this picture of me and Jonathan Hickman. Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Well, yeah, because Putin is his hero.
He was fucking fangirling. It was disgusting.
He's not allowed to fangirl.
He was
cultural appropriation.
I think he's a little bit gay for Putin.
I think so, yeah.
I think honestly, I've seen a lot of hints lately that I say this with the caveat that my gaydar is not the best, but I think he might be bi, just deeply in the closet, because the way he talks about other men's physical appearance all the time, and the way he's obsessed with like the size of Arnold Palmer's genitalia and brags about it, and he's always gassing up the way other men look. I don't know. I think there's something there that he hasn't explored.
Could be. But
Where do you stand?
So
personally?
elections are run by the states. So
I'm
I don't
asking you
know
where you- I'm gonna
that
finish.
President Trump is going to succeed at that, but it is. But
where do you stand personally on stripping Americans from those foundational tools? And if you support it, then how do you defend
I
the
think that
charge
we
that
have to
it's
make
more than
sure-
a policy choice and not a push for authoritarian control that undermines election
you're
integrity?
using the right buzzwords, but the buzzwords don't really mean anything when we're talking about a republic and we're talking about protecting the integrity of our elections. So I am well aware of the challenges and problems with mail-in balloting.
There are.
We need to keep it.
Yeah,
We have
what-
to have
which
mail-in
one?
ballots.
Let me point out something out here. I live in a state that has used mail-in ballots for over 20 years now, and they are exceedingly safer, more secure than any other fucking anything.
Trump got elected with mail-in ballots.
Right. Yeah, it's you could conceivably argue that he lost in 2020 because of mail-in ballots, because he was so vigorously against them.
Also, do you know who else has mail-in ballots? I mean, of course, their election's a sham, but they do have mail-in ballots
in Russia.
Yeah. Most democracies in the world have them. Yeah.
Turns out
the guy that he's so fucking stupid and enamored with this motherfucker that he's like, oh, Putin said that. Oh yeah, it's a bad idea. Don't do that. Like literally, that's how their election works. That's how Putin knows that he loses every time. You know?
'Cause he's the mail-in ballots. Yeah.
Right. So he counts them himself and he looks and he's like, oh, I lost again. Ha ha ha.
Ha ha ha. Anyways, I won.
He just stays. Yep.
Go ahead.
No. Okay.
To you was how do you feel personally of stripping Americans of those foundational tools of
What
mail-in
foundational
ballots?
tools?
Mail-in ballots.
Mail-in ballots are not foundational tools.
You just said we have to protect it, but it's not foundational.
You're fully capable of exercising your right to vote without a mail-in ballot. You are absolutely fully capable of exercising your right to vote without a mail-in ballot.
I love that person. I love their energy.
The way that lady's going at it, though, that's how everybody needs to fucking, speak to. If you're a local politician or whoever does a town hall, especially if they're Republican, but I mean, even if not, go to it, listen to what they say, call out the bullshit. That's what they're there to do. They don't think that you'll do it, but you should do it.
And just so we're clear, I assume that was a Republican that we were hearing. That woman, the Republican representative, basically just said, yes, I'm in favor of stripping voting away from American citizens, and fuck you if you think
and she
that's
only
wrong.
said that implicitly because the woman pushed her.
Right.
She would not have said that if the woman had not continued saying that. No, what do you because eventually she's going to say something, and she might not realize that she's admitting to what she was admitting, but she was admitting it.
Yeah. Do not accept their narrative. Do not accept their framing. Right. And they're very good at this. And it's not just them. A lot of media personalities are very good at this as well. This is why anytime the word Israel is mentioned with a 500-mile radius of a microphone, someone is asking, do you condemn Hamas? It is because it's to throw the topic off, because they don't want to talk about what you want to talk about. They want to talk about literally anything else.
I've been saying on social media, with my vast reach, for quite a while now, that I think every advocate for Palestine who goes on like the Piers Morgan show or CNN or MSNBC should get a shirt and or a hat printed up that says, "Yes, I condemn Hamas."
Yes.
And every time the question comes up, you just go, "What does the hat say?"
What's the hat say?
What's the hat
read?
say? Yeah.
Yeah. Can you read my shirt?
I want to say too that don't doubt your own reach, because just 2 nights ago, the Birdman dropped a video that was almost entirely supported by content that myself and Organized Chaos made about Eric July.
Woo! Let's go.
My video was used extensively. Bob was mentioned specifically. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. And Birdman completely fucking ripped into Eric July as being a grifter piece of shit. So
As well he should. Probably because Eric July is a piece of shit.
I love how hard he's going at them. I mean, you guys go just as hard for sure, but I love it. I love how he's just like bringing the big dick energy into that and taking it straight to them and getting their attention.
Well, I mean, we needed somebody with a platform that size, also, you know, that is very eloquent in how he's able to frame these things, and even sounds eloquent whenever he's, you know, calling somebody a stupid motherfucker. It's pretty cool.
He really does.
I believe he is a voice actor, so that helps.
Yeah.
That does help. Yeah.
He is. Here's also. Oh, you know what? I wanted to kind of look at just a little bit from this Elephant Graveyard video, because we kind of got wrapped up in talking about whether or not these uses AI or not the other day with Cherry. And I respect that concern. I think we missed the thing that I wanted to kind of highlight, which you know,
words we're allowed to use and not use anymore. It's happening right now. The past few years, it's a real thing.
He explains here that the reason he chose a political side was because the other side was supposedly censoring him. Tony twists his personal choice of opting for YouTube ad revenue over free expression as an attack from the enemy mob.
I've never considered myself a very political guy. We found out from YouTube that there's new words that they want us to censor. New words that you have to bleep out or you don't make money anymore. So I've become like a free speech angry guy.
He became a free speech guy by becoming a censorship guy, censoring himself to get that paycheck as if the Netflix deal wasn't enough.
That's what Kill Tony is. There's no business element behind it. There's no networks.
That's the kind of backwards logic that only works inside this comedy simulacrum. Just an incredible example of the ability these cultists have to bend reality. The show is sold as a chance to transcend the rungs of human existence to that higher level, to a high-tier real comedian.
That you are indeed the newest golden ticket winner.
But what it actually is a multi-level comedy scheme, exploiting people's hopes of getting the hell out of their lives, and funneling money up to the top of the comedy pyramid to the big man, the comedy czar, everyone involved taking a little piece of the pie on the way up. The vibe of the show is terribly depressing, like watching a bunch of demons torturing lost souls.
Look at it, boy, looking like he on trial for touching kids. He can't even say that. You look gay. Try to do better next time.
You suck. There will be no next segment. You're blacklisted. Go.
Anything that interrupts their sadistic ritual gets flushed right out of there. Even the great Ric Flair was shat upon just for daring to be real.
Oh, I'm a wrestling coach for a high school.
Oh my God, this is so boring. Holy shit. Ric Flair, can you please tell us a story?
Actually, to be honest with you, I respect that very much. My son was a great amateur wrestler. He died of a heroin overdose.
Oh.
In 2013. I don't need to hear that, but anybody that could take time away from their life to support kids from personal experience, and because I believe it in my heart.
Tony supposedly reveres this guy.
A human living legend. Look at Tony. He's flabbergasted.
He's the man. He's literally the man.
But in this context, it's all about Tony and maintaining his kayfabe.
Because I believe it in my heart.
Show's depressing, man.
You ever had Asian pussy?
I will never sign up to make fun of people that donate their time to making children better.
Maybe it's me, though. I don't know. Maybe I am the asshole. I'm going to see what people are saying about their recent show in London. We got some voicemail here from a few guys in attendance. Let me see what they're saying.
Can you pause it for a minute?
I was stage right.
I just want to give a shout out to Ric Flair.
Yeah.
For telling those guys to go fuck themselves.
Yeah.
I had respect for that guy.
Yeah.
They're making fun of somebody who's practicing empathy and doing something good for the community.
Well, that's this whole like Joe Rogan comedy ecosystem is just like devoid of thought, devoid of empathy, devoid of rationality.
Can't even take a moment to let the legend that you invited on the show to just kind of express a fucking bit of empathy because it ruins your fun of shitting on somebody who's a nobody that, you know, came on there to try and his shot at making a name for himself, because that's what your show ostensibly is about. But very, very few actually, does that work out for anybody. And then the people that are up there, like, you can watch any of these channels that, I've talked about recently, Podcast Cringe or Too Lazy to Try or whatever they're called. Those are two of them. There's other ones, but like we'll talk about the David Lucas guy. He's kind of the framing device of this video, actually. He got me thinking. That whole bit. Like, these people are not fucking funny. There's a reason you haven't heard of them outside of this context, and it's because they fucking suck, dude. They're like not good comedians. It's just comedy thing that there was a while there where rock music was kind of the thing, or any kind of music was where like, oh, even if you don't have any talent, you can still kind of make some kind of name for yourself by just like, I don't know, saying or doing the right thing or whatever. That still happens, but now comedy is that thing where if there's a comedy boom, there's a lot of money in it, a lot of fucking money in comedy, stand-up comedy now. And that's a good thing. I generally think stand-up comedy is a pretty great art form. But yeah, you're going to end up with grifters in it, just like you do anything else. And
I've said before on this, I think on this show, on the FAPcast, that this is one of the best jujitsu moves fascism made in the 21st century was colonizing comedy. Yeah. Because it anticipated, I don't know.
Well, it did the same thing with
a conscious choice.
Right? The same reason that it happened with fandom is because, it was definitely a conscious choice, because at least in terms of, you have to assume it is with comedy, because we know it is with fandom. We know that fucking, what's the name? Steve Bannon.
Right. But fandom, it was not historically a source of anti-fascist power.
Literature.
Comedy was. They were preventing.
They were going after media because literature and media has obviously always been popular media has had a anti-authoritarian bent to it. That's why like it's so absurd that some of these fucking creators say the shit they do about Star Wars or whatever, when it's like, dude, you guys were the motherfucking villains, just like Birdman was talking about. Yeah, I think it was very intentional because in both cases.
But comedy specifically, though, what this is doing is preventing the rise of a Charlie Chaplin's little dictator. It's preventing
I don't hate to keep pushing back, but I don't think that either one of them is more powerful than the other. And I think they're both were seen as necessary things to co-opt, from the right. But yes,
I agree. I'm not disagreeing with that. But fascism the first time around went after what we would now call fandom too, but it failed. I don't know if it went after comedy consciously, but it failed to get comedy in the 30s and 40s, whereas in the 21st century, it got
fandom
comedy.
Wasn't a thing in the way that we understand it now at all. I mean, it's only been 100 so years that fandoms have even been really a thing at all.
So if you look at like the German film culture,
yeah, they went after that for sure.
They went after that, but that's sort of it was more. I think the difference there is that the 20th century fascists saw comedy as degenerate art.
Yeah.
Where now it is about using comedy to denigrate groups as degenerate.
That's what I meant. They rather than suppressing comedy, they took over comedy. They appropriated it and used it as a tool.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're right. Because, you watch Inglourious Bastards, for example, there's, a lot of that is about, kind of not subtextually, but like it's not the main plot of the movie, but there's a lot of it that revolves around, Nazi propaganda in being made into serious films kind of thing, right? Like the what's his name? Baron Zemo actor, like he's their new star because he killed a bunch of allies or whatever, and so they're putting
Right.
him in a movie, and it's pretty fucking insidious, and it worked. At least especially in the comedy regards, it worked, and I don't know if we can say whether or not it really worked in fandom, because COVID and then the kind of streaming situation has been an X factor and all that as things have definitely changed with popular media and fandoms. But is that because of these guys, or just kind of I don't know, it's hard to tell.
I think that they have had an effect, right? Because we've seen studios try to like put forward these like fan panels, which is the dumbest idea ever.
Well, we talked the other day on the Shillcast about Disney's trying to, get younger dudes back into Disney stuff.
Right. Good luck with that.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
they aren't
truth to power, and now they speak power to truth.
Yeah, that's Mark Maron's line. That's great. That's a great line. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's true. Yeah.
My
point was fascism learned to exploit what they previously considered to be degenerate art.
Yeah.
And that is what I think was key to its success in the 21st century.
Well, I guess the thing that we can recognize about fascism, 21st century fascism, is that in the way that it's different is that they're only real, because I think there were a lot of true believers that were really believed in the Third Reich and the fucking whatever, the Infinite Reich or whatever the fuck they were going for back in the day. And now I think they've just kind of figured out in a cynical way that like it doesn't really matter how we achieve what we achieve, even if we have to co-opt things that we conservatives previously would have shot down. In fact, they're the ones that the brilliant move that they made was kind of just deciding to stop being offended over actually offensive things. Sometimes conservatives, they used to
still get offended. No, they
Sure.
get offended all the time.
But,
It's just
like,
what is offensive to them is different.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they used to be the ones that would get offended by raunchy language or whatever the fuck, and distasteful blah blah blah. And now that's like if that suits them, they will absolutely utilize that shit.
Right.
I mean, Trump is the embodiment of just like, well, we don't actually believe in anything anymore. We just need power. We want power.
Yeah. And I think we need to circle back also and point out, as you did, that none of these people are funny.
Right.
Not a one of them.
They're objectively not funny.
He's I've seen there's a couple of videos showing what his response to Marin since since Marin started saying that shit, and what's hilarious is it's the exact same shit that we get under our videos all the time.
Right.
It's you're jealous. You're jealous. That's why that's the only reason anybody ever talks about people that are, appealing to fascists or whatever, or to bigotry or whatever. It's because we're jealous. That's why.
It speaks a lot to their motivation.
And then Joe Rogan said these mentally ill people at one point, I don't know when it was, but he referred to critics of his as being mentally ill. And that's another one that's like, it's just, sorry, go ahead.
He went on a tear. So he had a pseudo historian and an archaeologist on for some kind of debate a few years ago. And that pseudo historian is a friend of his that's been on his show a bunch of times.
Graham Hancock,
yeah. And so after that debate, Rogan went on to say a bunch of things about him. And like the guy's like
cancer.
Yeah, that guy has cancer. He's saying, "Oh, he's this weak-looking guy." It's like, well, yeah, he's a cancer patient, you asshole.
And Rogan knew it. And that was supposed to be funny. I'm going to make fun of this cancer patient who made my friend look bad. Not only did he make fun of him, he tied him being wrong, what he thinks is wrong, as being something to do with his weakness. It's kind of like this masculinity coded kind of thing, like where he's weak because he's wrong because he's weak.
Right.
Physically weak or whatever. And it's
just that's what I was going to point out. It reminded me of a moment, the debate between Hassan Piker and Andrew Tate, where that actually happened, by the way, if you didn't know that.
My God.
Where Andrew Tate basically made the same argument that, like, well, I could beat you up because I was a professional kickboxer. And Hassan's response was, probably, but all that would prove is that you could beat me up. You would just be a dumbass who could beat me up. It doesn't mean you're right.
Yep.
And that's what Rogan's doing. He's associating physical fitness with intelligence.
Right.
So I saw somebody mention Shane Gillis, and he is an interesting factor in all this because he was somebody who he was quote unquote canceled. I mean, I guess in the most literal sense you can be. He was going to be a new cast member on SNL years ago. And then they dropped him before the season started because he did some kind of like, made fun of Chinese people or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was. Something racist. He said it on a podcast or whatever. And then they dropped him. And then he went on to be kind of a little bit of a darling for the right, except the thing is he's actually funny. And now I was trying to find I guess I downloaded it when I came across it, but there was a video of him saying he's back on his lib shit because, and he's given really a dumb reason. But like he's showing the video of like Trump and all these, Rubio and shit at a UFC thing where they're all like the camera goes by him and they're like posing for the camera. And he's like, that's just fucking cringe, bro. I can't be part of that shit.
When conservative comedy is actually funny.
Like, and yeah, he actually seems like he's not a piece of.
Yeah. The only time conservative comedy has the potential to actually be funny is when conservatives are not in power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then you're attacking someone with power. Like a lot of conservative comics came up during the Clinton era because Clinton was the president, and there was a lot of stuff to make fun of.
Well, and a lot of the conservative comedians of that era made fun of Clinton for things that were true of them, and they leaned into it.
Yeah, they did that, and that's the other thing that's the element that's missing from conservative comedy now is self-aware self-deprecation.
Yeah.
Right?
They cannot,
which is something that all great comics do, regardless of their political ideology.
If you notice, the only two modes that conservatives have, and this speaks to their lack of emotional intelligence, is mockery and anger.
Yeah.
Or some kind of performative version of something else that they might do. Like they might be performatively upset or whatever, but like it's generally just they're gonna express themselves to be a mockery or angry, what they believe is righteous anger. So
yeah,
it's kind of.
I remember watching Tony Hinchcliffe at the Republican convention last year, which is the first time I'd really heard of him, and thinking, is this some kind of an experiment where conservatives say, hey, what if we said things that had the structure of jokes but weren't actually funny? Would that be something cool to try?
I checked out his show. It's called Tires on Netflix. It's like a sitcom kind of thing that he's on, and he's genuinely funny on it. I think that Shane Gillis is kind of, I don't know what his views are, but he's kind of part of this group that I don't believe that he really wants to be. Like I've seen him shitting on just the Austin people that moved all to Austin and everything and how shitty Austin is. So like, I don't know. I don't think he's completely on board with the Rogan shit. He's got his own little career trajectory anyway. So, but he is buddies with him, it seems like. Anyway, let's watch a little bit more of this because there's the good parts coming up.
And every scumbag up there booed non-stop for everything and laughed when they got any reaction or could make a comic react. Booze, fights, people up and down to get drinks or a sniff in the bathrooms, and people so fucked up they didn't know where their seats were.
Comedy is fun.
These three blokes dressed as cowboys were sitting at the back, throwing things and being loud by all accounts, but I just noticed when they threw something at the women in front of me. So I stood up and threw some sweets at them, and then I put my jumper on, walked up there and slapped one of the cowboy hats off their head. Then me and the three of them had a good brawl, and I thought it went rather well. But afterwards it turns out I had a couple of great big cuts on my head, so I'm not sure how that happened because their punches actually seemed very weak, and I didn't get any black eyes, bruises or broke nose. Then I left the building sharpish and went home to bed. Did anyone see if they had any weapons? Because I've come away with some nasty lacerations that's going to scar me face.
That sounds like a comedy show to me. Good. But yeah, it's a toxic environment. That's why it was the perfect place for Tony to transition into his final new guy. That's why it's called Kill Tony. It's where the old original Tony went to die. He unveiled his fully transitioned self with his most recent comedy special, tweet thing. And that's why that is called Garbage. Tony in, garbage out. And this new Tony just seems even more pissed off. He seems to still be following in the comedy czar's footsteps, right off a cliff. But when a guy doesn't have a real male role model, and all he's got is the comedy czar, what else could you expect? And now he spends time on the show doing these deranged, awkward rants about whatever dumb shit most recently pissed him off. just like Dad.
But I came back home because I faced anti-Semitism.
You know, I hear this, but it's kind of funny because, like, if you make fun of an Italian, there's no word for that. If you make fun of everybody else, it's racist. Your people have a special word for racism. What do you think that means? If you take yourself out of the picture, what do you think about your people having a special word for just you? And what exactly did they say or do to you there?
They said, like, go back to, you know, Poland, all the normal shit.
But you've never been to Poland?
No, my ancestry is Ukrainian.
Oh, wow. There's some uneducated idiots that are rooting for you now, not realizing that that country's stealing our money.
Comedy show.
I'm a doctor.
What was your schooling like? Super Canadian?
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people don't know this, but I study the Canadian healthcare system because they brag about how good it is. And I like to do my own research just to make sure that I live in the greatest country on planet Earth, and I do. But Canada does rides now for anybody that wants one. Am I correct?
No.
I know more about your system than you because I have a bit about it.
Hopefully you can tell by now that that right there is a
not
guy
how-
who has fully migrated into a simulacrum. There really is something in the eyes, eh? Suey eyes. That's definitely a real thing. It's hard to believe, but all this crazy shit is how the top of the comedy world works now. I was tempted to end the investigation there, but I just kept staring up at that photo of David Lucas.
Keep thinking.
When you ask why as a kid, what happens if you keep asking? You either end up in theoretical physics or an insane asylum. And so I just didn't stop.
And it got me thinking, if Tony can build his own simulacrum nested inside of the Comedy Czar's simulacrum, then what if Joe the Comedy Czar's simulacrum is also nested inside a bigger, more powerful simulacrum? Well, guess what? It is. You just need to follow the breadcrumbs. It's actually not that difficult. Everything's right out in the open, which is part of this bigger cult strategy. They hide in plain sight, and they lay their plans out in public for all to see, because people tend to think if this were real, they would be hiding it.
What's your problem?
Anyways, remember Joe's buddy Duncan? Warning him about what might happen now that Joe's podcast had become so massive and influential? About guys from deep dark wells of influence penetrating Joe like a battering ram and using him to blow radioactive...
Are you saying that this video, or what are you talking about? What he was saying? I don't know. I mean, this video is funny, just not like in a immediately laugh out loud. Here's some jokes funny.
So I know this video is an hour and a half long. What is the?
Yeah, we're I'm at the part where I mean
We're here.
yes. What's the point?
Okay.
Okay, we're at the point.
What's your point?
I was asking what was the point you wanted us to the point in the video you wanted us to talk
Oh, we would
about.
have gotten to it already if I had been able to play it earlier, but please don't time manage me. Thanks.
Activity all over the world? Well, he was spot on. And thanks to Guru David's guidance, we figured out who those evil penetrators are. They are a self-fulfilling, prophetic, doomsday cult, run by technocratic billionaires who want the world to crumble so they can rule over its ashes. An Armageddon death cult, obsessed with the demise of humanity, and hell-bent on making it happen as soon as possible. Comedy. I discovered this plot almost by accident, while taking a break from all that thinking. I sat in the tree outside my cabin, started reading this book I picked up at a garage sale in town. It was called The Lord of the Rings. And, while reading it was supposed to be a break from all that thinking about the comedy hell world, but it actually ended up illuminating the pathway to the truth about how comedy got so shit. So, in this story, these ancient elf guys created magic orbs called the Palantiri. These orbs allowed guys to see and communicate across vast distances with other guys who had an orb. The orbs were meant to help gain and share knowledge and make society work better, but you had to be very smart and strong-willed to use this technology. And just like in our world, most people are just really stupid. It's just the way it is. These orbs weren't inherently evil, they didn't necessarily lie, but they could show a selectively narrow version of reality. And if you had a double-digit IQ and tried to use one, you'd end up confused, misled, and completely dominated. And that's when I realized the guy who wrote this thing must be some sort of genius, because he perfectly predicted the internet and how it was going to break everybody's brain. And in the book, the bad guy is this guy called the Dark Lord. Well, the Dark Lord got a hold of one of those Palantir orbs, and he used it to dominate and reshape the minds of a bunch of influential guys who happened to have orbs too, like the boss of all the wizards. and this guy Denethor, the ruler of some kingdom castle or whatever. Using the orbs, the Dark Lord led both these guys to fully believe the apocalypse was upon them, and that there was nothing they could do to change it. He figured if these influential guys could be convinced the end times were upon them, there would be a trickle-down effect, where everyone would believe it, feel completely helpless, and just kind of give up, let the Dark Lord take over. The wizard boss guy reacted by joining the Dark Lord in his quest for domination, because if that Dark Lord is bound to win the war, he might as well be on the right side at the end of it. It's a philosophical suey. And poor old Denethor turned to utter despair and decided to just let Sauron get on with it, let his kingdom be dominated by the Dark Lord before doing a proper full suey himself. Oh yeah, there was this other king who didn't have a magic orb, so Saruman sent this guy, Wormtongue, nasty guy, to just go whisper in his ear, and it had the same effect. The point is, these guys essentially all got put inside a hyper-real simulacrum by the Dark Lord using that orb technology. The visions presented to them in the orb became their new reality, and because they were so weak and stupid, losers really, they were convinced there was no way forward except to embrace the apocalypse by joining that Dark Lord.
Whoa.
5 gift memberships.
Whoa.
Fuck yeah, thanks, man.
That's awesome. Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you,
5.
low watermark.
My man.
Appreciate that, man. It's very cool.
Or by going full suey. Why the f am I talking about this stupid book bullshit? Because the internet is our magic orb. But unlike this book, in our world, everybody has one. In the book, the Dark Lord loses the war because the humans got a new king who still lived in classic reality. But imagine if every guy in this Ring story had an orb, and not just a couple of the leader guys. Even this new king wouldn't be able to convince enough people to defend the castle. The Dark Lord would have won for sure. Anyway, it's a good book. Check it out if you know how to read. Because that's kind of exactly what this doomsday cult we're talking about did. They created and then gifted to us our Palantiri, the internet, social media, podcasts. They used their techno-wizardry to seize control of human behavior and thought, creating their Palantiri to be both completely addictive and to devolve all human interaction into complete negativity. Once that happens, our I gotta get the hell out of here gene activates, and when there's nowhere else to go, the cult offers escape pods into their simulacrum, which really are psychic apocalypse bunkers. The cult's goal is to destroy what they call the cathedral, which encompasses all the elements of our society that influence our thoughts and beliefs about the world. Everything from public education and universities to cultural industries, the media, and of course the new mainstream media like podcasts. Once all these institutions are destroyed, the cult can assume control of all of them, and then they can dictate public opinion.
Hey, look at that.
Look at
seems
that
like we were
guy.
covering those guys a while back.
I feel like we've talked about these guys in the recent past 2
Did we do
hours.
it before the election or after? I think we did it before the election, right?
Pretty sure it was before.
Yeah, we definitely talked about these guys before because of like JD Vance being the vice presidential nominee.
Right.
Given that he is a half a term senator at this point. At the point he was nominated. I think he was elected in 2022.
Yeah.
Also allegedly a couch fucker.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think it's alleged. I mean, I just think it's true. I think it's pretty true.
Even if it's not true, it's canon.
It's right.
It's canon. Yeah, I was going to say, if we're all living in a simulacrum anyway, of course it's true. I choose to believe it's true. I will canonize it.
It's canon.
So yeah, that's it's a very compelling narrative that I think is the kind of thing that we need more of. Because we talked about the political strategy of trying to get rid of the fascists, but there's a cultural issue that is maybe a bigger one. You know what I mean? As far as like what people are deciding to how they're deciding to view the world, and not even deciding. Obviously, in many cases, I think they're just algorithmically cowed into believing certain things at this point.
I did like the analogy between the Palantiri and the internet, and of course I'm a big fan of constantly going to the well of the Lord of the Rings for analogies. Yes, hard to believe
really.
But
since when?
That is a pretty brilliant part of the video. I think.
Yep.
So
Tolkien
apparently
would hate the internet.
Oh yeah, I don't blame him. I hate it too.
I hate
All
it too.
Apparently, breaking news. We the president. I think he might be dead.
What?
Because for the first time ever, I think he's put out a one of his social media posts that is not a billion words in an endless screed of nonsense. He just said good night. And someone wrote a little poem. He rolled on his deathbed to his cabinet, gave a whistle, and away they all flew like a nuclear missile. But I heard him explain, ere he headed toward the night, Epstein files to all, and to all a good night. So apparently
Well
this
done.
was from about an hour and a half ago.
Yeah, so like all of this gives the appearance of somebody trying to make it look like the president is alive.
As alive,
Or at least,
yeah.
At least awake and mentally there.
Uh-oh.
And
Grand Theft Autobot is woke now.
uh-oh. We got him. We got one.
We got him.
And the evidence for this is that Trump is at the moment just behaving like a normal president.
Because he's dead.
Right? No, people, like I said earlier, like the fact that he spent half a weekend not doing something publicly outrageous.
Right.
And everyone ran to the explanation that he's dead.
Right, he's dead, yeah.
Whereas
it is the most likely outcome.
Is it though?
No, but it's funny to pretend it is.
That's what I find funny about it, because Biden didn't do shit like this. Right?
Yes,
he was just a normal president. He was
a normal president, yeah.
He didn't constantly generate outrage. And like we're so used to seeing the Dark Lord dominate our simulacrum that when he shuts up for a couple of days, we all start to freak out.
No, see my first thought was, boy, isn't this nice.
Yeah.
I thought after what happened earlier in the week with that shooting, I thought he was going to be on the warpath. Like I legit thought this was going to be a fucking problem. And I'm sure it's still going to be a fucking problem, but I expected him to be the ringleader in chief, as he is often wont to do.
Yeah, I was expecting a long string of anti-trans rage tweets.
Right. Especially because his press secretary was all fucking about that the next day and then into the day after.
Yeah. So yeah. Maybe he is dead.
Maybe. Wouldn't it be nice? If not, yeah, it'll be less nice.
If they're concerned, if the White House is concerned with the rumors that he's dead, all they have to do is put him on TV and have him talk to somebody.
They're gonna bring him in like the hologram of that dead rapper. No, what was it? That AI company made like a simulacrum to like pretend to be someone's dead child. That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna make the Trump bot. He died this weekend because they were scanning his brain into Grok to be the voice of Trump.
Nothing about what you just said sounded cool.
I wanted to.
None of it.
He said something about destroying the cathedral, is what they call it. I was like, is that really like an? Yeah,
that's really that's the Curtis Yarvin thing.
Yarvin calls it.
Yep.
So. Neo-reactionary movement explicitly calls for the dissolution of the current U.S. democratic system and its replacement with an authoritarian form of government. Proposals include RAGE. Yarvin coined the acronym "Retire All Government Employees." Hey, look, what is that kind of part of Project 2025? A little bit.
Yeah.
Neo-cameralism. This is Yarvin's proposed system of government. Involves creating a heavily armed, ultra-profitable corporation led by a CEO or monarch who would not be beholden to democratic processes. Monarch-led reforms. Under this system, a monarch would dissolve elite academic institutions and media outlets. So, Trump going after, Harvard and shit like that. That's all part. It's all part of it. Crazy.
Right.
It's crazy.
It's pretty wild. No, it's funny.
In Silicon Valley.
I remember the first time someone tried to explain the cathedral to me, and they were a true believer. This was, I want to say, like 2015. And I was just like, you sound like a huge fucking dork, right? And this is coming from me, and I am a huge fucking dork.
Yeah.
It's just like, this is...
Well, you separate your reality from this shit is the thing.
Right, exactly. But like, they did not expect that reaction. They just sort of been in the sauce long enough that like...
That you either were going to think it was awesome or like have a like an offended reaction. Right?
Yeah, and I had neither of those. I'm like, this is just... You sound like a huge fucking dork. And they did not expect that reaction.
Maybe Trump is Kash Patel, who, as we looked at Friday night, he's very, very concerned about, children being trafficked and harmed and stuff like that. So maybe he just arrested Trump.
Oh, that could be, yeah. The guy's right there, yeah. I like this one from Sean.
We might have
Kash Patel is his best people looking for a Lazarus.
We might have questioned the fucking morals of consistency of Kash Patel.
Who you are a person who has done one or more moral things in his life.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Which is more than he could do if he tried.
Did you guys know he wrote a children's book?
Shut the fuck up. What?
I think it's called something like the Servant of the King.
Yes.
Or something like that. And the king in the book is Donald Trump.
And he probably sees himself as the servant, right?
Yeah.
I literally am going to vomit.
All right. Well, I got to get out of here.
All right, get out of here.
But I got, a couple of clips here that I wanted to drop first.
Okie dokie.
Here's one. Sexy stuff.
Oh, I'm so. Whew. Excuse me.
I really think people don't realize that the disabled community is the largest minority group on the planet. Because the thing is, they pile us all together. So if you're blind, get in the pile. If you're deaf, help the blind guy find the pile. If you got one leg, hop on. All right, I'll stop. But whenever anybody's being mean about it, what I think they don't realize is not only are we the largest minority group, but we're also the only minority group that you can join at any time. You're just one bad bike ride away.
Good stuff.
Who was that guy?
Pretty sure that's Josh Blue. I believe he was. I think that's him. He was on they tried that reality talent show for comedy years ago, and he was one of the finalists, I believe.
He's pretty good.
He is good. Yeah. Anyway, that's all I got really. Oh wait, no, I have another.
Oh, we have one more.
Of life, we understand that someone else's decisions don't affect ours, but we have blinders on when it comes to gender identity. Even people who are otherwise progressive will mask it as compassion. They'll say things like, well, what if someone transitions and then regrets it? Look, I'm not going to pretend that doesn't happen. Of course it happens. It happens 3% of the time. 3% of the time that someone transitions, they then regret it and detransition. But I also read a story of lottery winners. 3% of people who have won the lottery have regretted it. The same percentage, which shows me that the regret has nothing to do with gender identity. It just means 3% of people will never fucking be happy. That's what that means. Yeah. 3% of you are regretting buying tickets to this show. It's okay. I know who.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. All right.
That's a comedian.
Yep, he's great. Thanks, guys. Subscribe to Bob of the Old Ways. He's working on a new entry into the new mythology. And I've seen
if you have not seen the first one, go watch that right now.
Yes.
Go like and subscribe and sign up. All the good algorithmic things.
And if you have not liked this stream, I will find you.
Yeah. We will kill you with hugs.
We will nuke you from orbit.
Might
it's the
go
only
down
way to
the
be
sewer
sure.
slide.
What's that?
If I find them, they may go down the sewer slide.
Well, YouTube seems to. Would you try to make a what?
Oh, jeez. That's
just say it. What's it? What's going on? Why won't let you say it?
Hate my attempt at Wizard of the Odd.
I don't have. If I have the YouTube chat open, maybe I could approve it. Let me see real quick.
Yeah, I'm
mad about Trump. I want to approve it. Or if there's a mod in chat that can approve that, do that, please.
I am a mod. I am not in that chat though. I'm in the other chat. Let me see. All right. Hold on. Show. Oh yeah, I see why. It's gonna keep fucking with me. Okay, yeah. I think it blocked it the first time, and then it blocked you for spamming.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Problem resolved.
All right. Oh, Josh Blue won his season. Okay.
Nice.
Is that his? That's him, right? I'm pretty sure that's him. It's been a long time.
He was the disabled comedian, Josh Blue. That's his name.
Unless it's a different disabled comedian, but I'm pretty sure it's the same guy. With a very similar disability, if it's a different guy.
Ouch.
I mean,
he stole my act.
Yeah.
Damn.
All right. I'm gonna get out of here before I get my.
Oh, hold on. Before you go, super chat from Sean. New Avengers 1 through 3 is really good.
Which, by the way, they did the same thing. Spoiler alert: they did the same thing the movie did, which is was previously Thunderbolts, and now it's New Avengers being led by post Doom World.
Oh, so they're
well
already
played,
post.
Marvel.
Well played. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a pluggable as well. If you are in the Midwest, Gamehole Con is coming up in October. There will be all sorts of role-playing games for you to enjoy. If you want to come out, it is October 16th through the 19th. And you can meet me there, and I can try and kill you.
Yeah. With hugs.
Just your imaginary friend. I can kill your imaginary friend.
Good night, everybody. I believe that you should expect to see a Shillcast on Wednesday. I predicted last week, whenever I realized that there's going to be 3 months of no big movies coming, that the grifters are going to have a good time, and I've already been seeing where Nerdrotic is doing just that. If you can,
boy.
So I was right. I'm always right. Always right about these grifters. Yep, that's it. End of message. And then the last video I got here going to go out. It's a couple minutes long, but it's worth it. This is going to be Josh Jackson, I think is his name. He's one of the hosts, one of the guys on the Daily Show, and he's got a great YouTube channel. He's blowing up on YouTube. You should subscribe to it. And yes, Morgan, yes. And yeah. See you guys Wednesday.
There's always been racism in it. It's mainly what it is, because if you really cared about people coming over the right way, the legal way, then you would make the right way and the legal way clear, and you wouldn't kidnap people at their green card interviews, and you wouldn't have like mass people picking people up after baseball practice, okay? If that's what you cared about. And you also, you've structured this thing to make these people seem like monsters. That's been the plan this entire time, because if somebody is a monster, it is part of the human condition and a flaw that we have. As long as we see somebody as a monster, whether they are or not, we don't really care what happens to them. It's why they can make conditions in prison so bad, because the assumption is, well, everybody that's there deserves to be there, so screw them, right? If they don't have clean water, or if they can't shower, or if their food's contaminated, good. Because they did something bad to earn that place, right? And it helps you strip the basic humanity of looking at another person, whether they've made a mistake or not, or looking at another person, whether from a different country or not. And if you get really good at stripping that humanity away, you can do whatever you want, and then you start to be able to do whatever you want to anybody that you want. And that's what's been creeping up this entire time. What started as like, guys, they're eating the dogs. Remember, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Nobody's pets are safe. It was getting so dumb. It was past like, these are criminals and they're killing us and they're coming over here to do terrible things. And then it started to morph a little bit more. Okay, look, I know that they're going through the proper channels and everything, but they have a misdemeanor in another country. Do we really want somebody like that to become a citizen? Maybe we should deport them now. No, I understand that they have their green card, But they also, I don't know, they have this weird past I don't like, or they wrote an op-ed I didn't like, or they said a thing that I didn't like. So do we really want someone like that in our country? I know that they are a fully naturalized citizen, but the way that they became a citizen is a little bit under suspect, because I said so just now. So maybe we'll deport them. And now we're all the way to the point that American citizens that I do not like can be gone. And so you see, when you let somebody's humanity get stripped away over and over and over again, and it's in the back of your head, and you even go with the lie. They probably did something, or maybe they shouldn't have done that thing, or maybe they have a good reason. When you do that enough and it finally comes for you, don't be surprised.